talking back, a detonator.
Good evening and welcome to Grapple Spotlight, recorded live here on Grapple Patreon. I'm Benno.
And I'm Matty.
And we are here on a Tuesday night, live with our patrons, cracking a tune to welcome us to proceedings. Bit of a proper rap, mate. Current stuff. WWE using it, so it must be current. Usually it's like 15 or 20 years old when they use it. Remember that WrestleMania, they used P. Diddy and he came out and did the live performance? Anyway, how are you, mate? Great to see you. I feel like I had to move all the way to Southeast Asia just to see you more times than I see you when I'm in Liverpool. 3 times over a weekend now, mate.
Mate, I know what's going on, Ben. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. It is a great song, though. I mean, I heard it like in the weeks up on Raw, and I thought I'd have to Shazam this, and I did. And obviously, Killer might come up, and it was like, yeah,
what am I?
Off Call of Duty apparently. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's doing the rounds. Great song, though. Really good song.
Cool. You're a Call of Duty guy, you're a PlayStation guy, you're an Xbox guy. Imagine like WWE and AEW, you've picked a side and you've stuck to it probably for the last 20 years. So I'm guessing, I mean, I would just guess PlayStation. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Yeah, there you go. The incumbent, big brands, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
PlayStation guy, but I never got the 5, Ben. I still got the 4, but use it just for the apps.
I've got a 4
and the Blu-ray, but no, don't keep up. Never been a COD guy either. Never got into it. Tried it, and it's just too fast for me, Ben. You know, the back buttons, and you got to turn the camera. Just too advanced for me these days, so no, couldn't get into it, mate.
We've definitely had this before, but SNES or Mega Drive, Sonic or Mario?
Oh, it's a tough one.
FIFA or PES? Or Pro Evo in our generation?
Pro Evo was the one where it 02 to like 2010, and then FIFA 11 was the game. Pro just got stale. Pro was always the tactics game, weren't it? More than the video game.
For the hardcores.
Like you were having the Master Season, mate. Was it called Master Season? Unbelievable. Just years ahead of its time, proper tactics and winning 1-0 and you made up, you know what I mean? Then FIFA, I got too good to be. I'm not blowing my own on. I got too good at FIFA where I was just winning like 7-0 and I was like, it's crap. I got up to like level 1, online and that. I was really actually good at it, to put the hours in. But yeah, great times. But I admire gamers and I always like the idea of still being one, but I just don't. I've not the dedication all the time. Then the podcast, the wrestling, everything takes up too much of me.
I feel the same way about comics. It feels like a world I'd be into if I could be bothered, but I never got there. On footy games, sensible soccer, man. Like I've always stuck with that. It was the customization on that. It was like playing EWR because it had all like the fake players, didn't it, with the fake names. But you could just go in and edit them yourself, and I'd spend literally days just fixing it all, and then the cartridge would get wiped and I have to do it again. And I'd be quite excited to do it all again and run through it and do it all. World Cup '90, that was a game we had on, I think, on Master System years ago. I was a big fan of that. Used to be able to score a few goals on that one. They're the classics, yeah. Then I'm trying to think of other ones. Pepsi versus Coke. You're definitely a Coke man. I'm saying that without no, it's like a 5-1 this now. Just all the big brands basically is what we're learning.
Always Mackey's over Burger King. It's always
over Burger King, yeah.
Yeah, it's always the big brands. But
Football Manager or Champ Manager?
Once again, Champ Man's the go-to,
the original.
The 0102 that like got,
and that's really what Football Manager is now, isn't it? Because they basically did a switcheroo, didn't they?
But it's in COVID, weren't it? The pandemic, like that got, obviously everyone started playing it again and got that base of the game, obviously with updated teams and such. But that engine. But I was a Footy Manager guy. Like once we started 04, 05, getting into that.
Okay.
As everyone will know, like the amount of hours and the amount of genuinely putting life things off just to finish a season, like just great, the greatest of times though. Wouldn't have had
the same as me though. It's just too much now. Like it's actually too much work to kind of get into it.
I stayed with it till about 2016. Genuinely every September when it come out, I was first day, went to the local Tesco, got it. And then the 1 year I was like, oh, this is getting too advanced and too out of hand. I just want to reset and play. Because you can have the original template, can't you? You can just play like without all that. But I think, well, what's the point kind of thing? And now apparently it's even bloody worse. There's just everything with coaching like off the pitch.
That's
like,
what I can't be bothered with.
Home. Yeah.
And then I get annoyed when my players don't do what I want, and I can't just win magically because I changed one player in my team. Or you sign someone who's great in real life. If you play, I used to like playing an old one. I'd sign like Messi for Everton, but in like Football Manager like 2011 or something like that when he was all 15, and try and get him going. That was always the one for me. Ramin says here, stickers or Mars, Adidas or Nike. We could do this all day. I reckon I'm going to guess you're Adidas. No, you're Nike over Adidas. Although I've seen you in Adidas. I don't think I've seen you in Nike.
I like both, but I'm Nike. Adidas for
I think you're Mars over Snickers.
Adidas for football kits all day, but I'm Nike trainees. Don't like Adidas trainees at all. I used to have Superstars when they were the rage. Nike all the way. And if I had to choose like trackies or t-shirt, it's always Nike. Yeah, Adidas is nice.
I think Nike's better, but Adidas is cheaper, isn't it? And as you get older, you get a bit more like, I'm not that bothered. I don't care.
I think Adidas makes nicer, smarter stuff. But if I'm just wearing casual sports, loungewear or sportswear, it's Nike. I prefer a Snickers, to be honest, Ben. But I prefer a Snickers. More in it, isn't it? It's just peanuts, basically. It's just in it. Mars bar's lovely, though.
Get more money's worth.
Mars bar's unreal, but got to be in the freezer, mate. They've got to be like cinder blocks to eat. They've got to be that hard.
You like putting stuff in the fridge and freezer, do you, mate, to cool it down? Oh, I've got a life for you. It's got to be over here, mate. You can't leave anything out. That's my lesson. I'll say. So have we got any others? Corrie or EastEnders? I know you're a EastEnders man over there.
EastEnders. I always put that as like EastEnders could be struggling, but when they built to a crescendo and a big storyline, big episodes, EastEnders always delivered in it. But Corrie more consistent. You know, it was a comedy for years, which that was the point of like why people liked it, but sometimes it was too much of a comedy, but nailed it well.
Now they're going full Forbidden Door, aren't they? Even
unreal, mate.
People put on Discord today. Did we say? I feel like we booked it. I don't know what show it was on. We were definitely talking about it, and I was saying like it's like even like fucking Family Guy and The Simpsons did the crossover, didn't they? And it was crap, but like it happened. Like it just.
Was it shit? I didn't see that.
It's on Fox, and it was okay. They did 2 of them, I think. 2 full episodes. Yeah, it was just. It was like careful what you wish for, a bit like a John Cena heel turn. I don't know. Maybe
did they have a stupid off? Did Homer and Peter? Was it? Did they have a proper
pretty
like
much,
those?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just, and obviously both past the peak at that point. And is that not true of Corrie and Emmerdale? I don't know. But honestly, when I asked you about it a while back, I was just like, I just assume I've not been paying attention and it's happened. Like, how have ITV not been tempted to do it? You're never going to get your EastEnders and Coronation Street one, obviously, with the rival networks. But yeah, that one feels like a lie-up. Feels like it's been there this entire time. What's taking them so long?
I think didn't they do some sort of a comic relief? I'm sure something happened a few years ago.
That never counts, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's good to see, but it doesn't obviously officially in the law, Ben, and in the.
When there's like reunions and stuff, like Peep Show reunion, but it happened on comic relief. It's like, no, it didn't, didn't it? It's a part of it. It doesn't count. There's been loads of stuff like that.
But this is, if it's a full-on episode, it'd be unreal. I'd love to see how they do it. Like
it's an hour, I think. Hour special.
They've got to go to Yorkshire, though. It makes more sense if they go like on like a day out
on a day trip
in the Dales or something, and end up in the Woolpack more than them going in the back. Why would they end up in a back alley?
Oh, this looks like a nice pub.
Yeah, you know what I mean? At least that's a one-off pub on its own, whereas why would they end up on that street in Manchester? It makes more sense going to Emmerdale, you know.
Could happen. They could be going to a wrestling show down the road. That's how we've ended up in weird Manchester venues, you know. Could happen. Yeah. Could work.
It'll be good, though. But as I say, the soaps, as we all know, it's not just our generation. They have it's you know, everyone's come back from years ago. They've resurrected how many people in EastEnders that's been dead. It's just past its point now, aren't they? So they should even come to each other. BBC and ITV should come together to try and save the day and just let's get the ratings back. Let's get it back. Like it's the only way.
Internet needs to put them more in the ground before that happens. Remember, there was a point where like the iPlayer, not that I ever had access to it. Actually, I'm far enough away now. Back when I used to use it without, you know, it's just a fucking tick box, isn't it? Do you have a TV license? And I'd just say yes. Yeah. Whether it was true or not. There was definitely a point where they used to have like ITV shows on it. I don't know if you remember that, where they were just randomly uploading ITV and Channel 4 stuff on there, or at least linking to it on the iPlayer. Yeah, there was a small period there where they were doing it. Yeah, we just need the internet to swallow them up more, and then they'll give in, and you can get all kinds in one place.
But it's even like, what did I have it on? Didn't see it on a scene, like, because obviously YouTube, and then
I never BBC or ITV.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going all JP yet, but it's got to be ITV. I mean, don't get me started.
Go BBC. I just support the ITV model more. Don't tell JP I said that. And I'll go McDonald's over Burger King.
30 names up then, but BBC just heels, aren't they? They're just always heels over the years, and I don't
establishment,
like it. Yeah, just proper horrors, lah. So ITV obviously probably had their fair share of horrors.
State-funded media.
Yeah, don't like it at all.
They hate Liverpool, don't they, mate? Like all the media. Never mind the fact that
no,
47 different.
ITV, I know we have ITV North West, you have BBC North West, but I just always see it BBC. Yeah, the hate us. Yeah, don't like. No, never into them. Obviously, the shows have been good, but on ITV, like shows, game shows, and all that. I know the classic, they never had a good sitcom. Fair play, but no, ITV all the way. Just the news. If you,
I mean, neither of them did, but yeah.
Come on, man. There's plenty of BBC sitcoms.
I'm lying. I know. Yeah.
But like the news, if I was watching the news or like the breakfast morning shows, it was always ITV over BBC over morning before school and that. So, yeah. BBC had probably better sport, did they? More variety, maybe. Yeah. With the
I always preferred the coverage if it was on both channels. But no, before anyone sends me slander, yes, absolutely. You know, sitcoms. BBC did great ones into the 90s, and then after that, who knows? But Channel 4, on the other hand, we can get into that conversation. Where's JP to fight the good fight? Well, he's off tonight, as it is a Fed review show. We have got all the stuff to talk about today. I've got a bit of AEW to chat, maybe even a bit of Impact if we can fit it in, bit of New Japan to talk, and all kinds of news going on around the wrestling world. And we've even got some Stop the Presses, some news to give to the patrons with some changes. Obviously, we're going to be talking the lifetimes of Sabu in a little while. That news kind of caught us by surprise, didn't it, on Sunday when we were literally about to go live for our pre-show and our mixtape show that actually did have a Sabu match in it. So it was all a bit raw and weird. But I don't know. I'll let you explain it away. Obviously, that was the main mixtape. We can plug that. But we've decided to flip the schedule on its head a little bit over the coming weeks with the assistance of our new Queen of the Mountain, Sophia Hitchcock.
Yeah, Sophia joined us on the pre-show, didn't she? And revealed their choice of the brilliant choice, really, of the 4 horsewomen of NXT, going through the classic matches and seeing, we were going to rank them at the end as well to see our ranking.
Oh, we're doing that,
4 to 1. Oh, that's coming of the 4 horsewomen. But
can't wait to find out who's your 2, 3, and 4, mate. Excited. And why you've got Pam number 1.
Because that was originally scheduled for this coming Sunday, the 18th, but with obviously, as you say, the breaking news when we were recording that about Sabu passing on, we've decided to flip it on its head, and this Sunday we're going to do a whole show dedicated to the career and the storied career, really, of Sabu, and just dive deep into his whole career and all the promotions and pick some matches from each promotion and just basically do the man justice, a pioneer. And can't wait to dive into that. Then we've been throwing ideas back today, having me match wise, and some are sticking and some we can twist. And obviously there might be a longer playlist for all the sickos out there, and recommendations are more than welcome as well. We're trying to break it up into stages of his career, of course, but any recommendations, any
suggestions are welcomely received. I mean, the idea is going to be broadly, I mean, it's going to be hard. We're calling it Terry Brunk, a tribute to Sabu. Garrett's already started working on the graphic just from the conversation we've literally been having in the last hour or so. It just makes sense, doesn't it, to do it? And we're going to try and cover the different periods of the good Terry his career. Maybe get some little hidden gems in there as like as kind of like a sicko's court, and maybe cover all, because that's the thing, he was fucking everywhere, wasn't he? He was in WCW, he was in, obviously we got the multiple WWE runs, but obviously there's the lesser known kind of ones, and then there's the more obviously commonly known ones with the WWE ECW run and his match with John Cena, which was my first vote for a match that has to go in there. But kind of come together in the last hour. I'm not even sure JP knows about this. It's breaking news to everybody here, but we've got to do the great man justice, haven't we? It was fun talking the Rob Van Dam match that got a pick for the May mixtape at the weekend, but he's got such a wide ranging career. A bit of will be more Rob Van Dam in there, I'm pretty sure, maybe as a team rather than as a singles, and I'm pretty sure the match, I think that should go in there for that discussion. But literally, it's like JP's old idea about Jeff Jarrett, like Forrest Bump. You could literally cover the entire history of the wrestling industry just talking Sabu matches, really, couldn't you? Or at least like the obviously the modern history of it since he was active.
It's like you mentioned there, like you mentioned the WWE run, and obviously ECW, what people are known for the most. We're going to have a few matches there, but it's even like FMW before ECW, and then it's TNA, which he had a couple of corkers. I remember him standing out with a
Abyss match. I think you voted, didn't you?
Yeah, Abyss, Barbed Wire Massacre, and there's a 4-way Monsters Ball that everyone remembers for Jeff Hardy's insane dive as well, like in there. But and obviously the Indies run, like when ECW was gone, like a bit of MLW in there, and he done the rounds, didn't he? So It'll be definitely interesting to dive into that. And yeah, as you say, just a true pioneer. Really, really was an influential wrestler. So really looking forward to that this coming Sunday. So obviously the Sophia's mixtape choice will be the end of the month slash the 1st of June, then the extra weekend. You know, we like to push boundaries and push.
Yeah, we figured out there's actually 5 weeks this month technically, rather than 4, so it gives us an extra week to play for. Gives Brett on the bank holiday weekend, we can put Retro out and give it its own breathing space. It all kind of fits together. It all works, and like you say on the Sophia mixtape, it means we don't have to skip the women's match from Takeover 1 as well. We can put that in there. And basically, I was really happy with myself. I was brilliant. We're not stealing the thunder of the Poison Rana lads. We're going to be doing a different show than them for once, and then it turned out they've already done a Sabu show, so sorry lads. Hat tip to them though, check their show out too if you can, but at least it's one I messaged Davey today, at least it's one they did a while back, and we'll obviously do our version of it, but together I reckon they'll make it a great collection. But no better time to look at the great man himself, Terry Brunk. What a bloke.
What a name, what a bloke, and yet really, really looking forward. I know Gareth's going to be doing, and even myself, I'm going to shock you, Ben. I'm actually going to do a bit of reading, a bit of research before we do this show to get a few facts and figures down. But I know Gareth will be high and wide searching, picking hidden gems and rare stuff. So I'm really looking forward to what we all come up with this, mate. So yeah, can't wait for it.
That's it. I mean, any more thoughts on it? Might as well start hot on the Sabu story. Obviously, it was very fresh at the time that we talked about it on the pre-show, and kind of on that mixtape on Sunday for patrons. Obviously, this is the first time people on the free feed will kind of hear us talking about it. It's been a wacky all day, or couple of days, based on the timeline reading that I've been doing. I think certain wrestling promoters and certain wrestlers should probably shut the fuck up. We can get into that in a little while, but yeah, obviously we don't know any more detail on the circumstances around them dying. As we were saying at the weekend, like just the idea that despite everything all the chatter that's going on over the last 24 hours, the idea that we all saw him wrestle, 3 weeks ago in that very memorable for good or bad match with Janela over WrestleMania weekend, for this to happen. I said it on Sunday, it feels a bit like the Ultimate Warrior, when obviously he came back for the Hall of Fame and then, was on Raw and then obviously died on the way back. This just feels strangely the timing of it is just odd. It's not, as we said on Sunday, not something that, just being brutally honest, would I have been shocked to hear the news Sabu died most weeks? Probably not, just with the way that man lived his life and the era that he was from, and obviously all of the tragic stories we know from that time and those locker rooms that he was in. But I think it coming now, off the back of obviously him being right in the limelight on WrestleMania weekend is the weirdest thing about it. And yeah, I don't know if you've managed to get your head around it yet.
No, I haven't, Ben, and just seeing that there, and that's what I go to first, 60. It's weird that, obviously it's young in life, but I can't believe he was 60. It's weird, do you know what I mean? I know we talk about age all the time, it's just putting that together, that he was 60 years of age, and I mean, we're going to go into it more in a bit. I'm trying to read what's going on, on the Twitter with Janela and the promoting and such, and I don't know, it just seems a bit, tasteless, or I don't know, maybe you can dissect it a bit better later on and we can have a chat, but just overall, just as you say, Ben, it's just come as a shock, didn't it? Literally as we're about to record there, and and Gareth even said on the when he think we had that gluttony of deaths, didn't we? At a point where it was just you just become numb to it. You did, and as I get older now, and as they become less frequent, they do it home a bit more. Do you know what I mean? And it is just with the fact that you're seeing them fresh and being in the same room as him at that WrestleCon as well, which I didn't realise, and just strange. Yeah, just very, very strange. And I think
we're getting a bit of static from your end, Matty. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it is, whether it's the mic or it could be your phone near the mic, maybe.
Sorry.
I'll chop this out of the audio. But yeah, same thing. It's kind of a bit of a shocker for me, in that he is somebody who you just kind of always think is going to be there, or somebody that's obviously so ever present in the wrestling industry over the years. Even just looking at the amount of tributes that have come out from different people, and it's people from every corner of the wrestling world, like Sami Zayn saying he thinks he should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, or someone like an MVP and half of the AEW locker room, Christopher Daniels, Jerry Lynn, obviously, who was up and down the roads with him, Rob Van Dam posting tributes to him, Joey Janela, who was in his last match, I think posting tributes for him coming out of the weekend, literally, Meltzer obviously has been doing some
Taz one, Benno, that shook me up.
Yeah.
That
definitely,
was sad,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to like obviously, WWE acknowledged it on Raw multiple times, Punk doing the pose on Raw. I think there'll be a very overt recognition of it, obviously on Dynamite this week on Wednesday, and we'll probably hear even more from Taz. But yeah, he kind of did one of those just talking to his phone ones, didn't he? Like everything that kind of came to mind right away. And he's not a man you usually see get emotional, and he did. But definitely, it's everyone, even did, like, that's the thing, he even did appear in AEW. They even had footage they could like pull out on the air. He's the one man the one man who debuted. We were only talking about it a couple of weeks ago, weren't we? The one man who debuted in AEW without the lights going off and on, Sabu. Like,
makes sense.
Wild, but like obviously they had to come up with their own theme music, so maybe they wanted to use that. Lanyard Sabu. That'll probably make like one of the extra bits on the deep cut. Maybe that'll be a sickos moment. But yeah, just everybody that obviously touched. Like, it's, how do you even put it into words? It's like everyone's saying the same thing. Like, there are so many people in wrestling history you could take out and things wouldn't be different. You take Sabu out, things change massively. Like the influence of him, like the style. He was literally one of a kind. That's like the type of thing people say about people, and it's not always true. Like, who else was Sabu? Like, as far as like his style and the use of the tables and all of that stuff that everyone's been going on about, but just the uniqueness to him, that how terrifying he was, just how much he stood out. We were talking about on Sunday, like, when you'd be leafing through magazines as a teenager trying to learn more about the wrestling world. He was the one who jumped out, wasn't he? Even when you were just seeing still images of him. Never mind the first time you saw him do like a triple jump moonsault, or work a match with Van Damme, or any of the barbed wire matches, the Terry Funk matches, all of that great stuff from that period. Like, it's just a massive figure in like the wrestling world, and somebody who did that mostly outside of WWE as well, which gets a bit of a cheer from me too. But
I was thinking, it's like, it's one of them, obviously the family connections with the Sheik. You had them wrestlers in the 70s, the 80s that you're seeing, like the Sheik himself, Abdullah the Butcher, Brody. These were all people you're seeing, and you just on the page of a magazine or clips, like, these are like, you're fearful of these wrestlers. And maybe when it was dying down, then Sabu was the next of that breed, wasn't he? That, like, bloody hell, Gareth would have been at that age, and he broke it down great on the weekend show, flipping through the magazines, seeing clips. I need to buy tapes of this fella just to see him. That's what he was. But
then he'd live up to it, wouldn't he? That's the thing, because there's people like that who you'd see and they go, oh, he looks cool in the magazines. And you'd either never get to see them, or when you did see them, that was all right. Or you'd hear a tale of like the king of the death matches in Japan, and then you're watching and go, it wasn't that good. When you actually saw Sabu, you got your fucking money's worth, didn't you?
But that's to say, he was the hybrid of that guy, but then once again taking the style on in the 90s, where it was smaller guys doing high stuff, like the matches with the 1 2 3 Kid on the indies. They were getting rave reviews at the time, weren't they, and stuff like that. So he just was a hybrid wrestler like that. That was like one of the most unique of all time. Madness, like he was. He's crazy.
When do you reckon the first time you saw him was? Do you remember? Like, I feel like I must have, maybe the first time I properly saw him, sadly, would have been the time he drugged off the Raw sign, very Benno and Pamphlet in your
probably
house, that one.
But didn't know him, obviously. That. Of course,
but maybe you'd heard the name at some point, and then obviously like moved into watching ECW, and he's the one. Him and Van Damme really are the ones who I desperately wanted to see any tape I could get my hands on. Is it the same kind of timeline for you?
Definitely, 100% going back and piecing it together on DCW videos when they would become available in Virgin Megastores, where we probably bumped into each other and didn't know each other, of course. But yeah, probably around that, and then just going back and just seeing all the crazy stuff. But yeah, definitely one of the most unique. But even that Bret Hart, Ben, in it, like of the Finish Survivor Series '95, was influenced by seeing Sabu going through tables, and the first time the announcers table had been using WWF was because of Sabu. Like, it's.
Yeah, we literally just did that, like a Benno and Pamphlet in your house. We were talking about the Shawn Michaels bump, and Good Friends, Better Enemies, when Diesel puts them through the table. And it's like, clearly he's been watching his ECW, and he's been like picking up on that from Sabu. And it's good and bad of that influence as well. But like, that's the thing, you can boil it down to that. I go, he was the tables guy. He was the guy who did the inventive spots with the chairs. He was the guy who did the botches, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not, depending on who you believed. And later in life, he was the guy on Twitter who'd say like ridiculous things. But like, so much more than that. Like, for me, it's the aura. Like, it's all of that stuff is the stuff that you go for him for, and the stuff that like when you watch it, you talk about. But kind of the unsaid thing with Sabu, it's the aura, it's the presence that works in any setting. Like it worked in ECW, but it wasn't just like he was any other ECW wrestler or any other wrestler who worked that style. It was like, oh yeah, it's cool. You see a bit of hardcore wrestling, you kind of move on with your day. It was the, like say, the lights on, lights off stuff. The fact that he never talked, apart from when he was allegedly biting Taz on the fantastic Joey Styles commentary from that match, or just the mystery around him, all of that stuff, like his background, who is he, what is he, like it worked in ECW. But like we're probably going to talk about at the weekend, I can't wait to revisit that John Cena match, because like going as late as when's that, 2005, like in that 2006, in that WWE setting, who stood out? It wasn't Cojones, it wasn't some of the other ECW talent that they brought back. Sabu was still ready made for TV. Sabu still had that aura. Sabu still carried himself in such a way that he came across as like a star on equal footing with John Cena in 2006 and the other top WWE guys. And if obviously him and Van Damme hadn't got themselves in trouble backstage and on the road, like who knows? I mean, I'm sure it would have flamed out like things do with Sabu. That's kind of, you know, the story of his career. It's kind of in and out, isn't it? But he's always memorable when he's in. But like you can go to that highest level, but you can go to the lowest level too. Anyone who saw him on an indie, myself included, haven't seen him, and I'll mention it one more time, on a fucking badminton court in Bootle in like the leisure centre in front of a bunch of kids, where he was still pulling the tables out and still pulling the chairs out and still doing the crazy spots in front of basically nobody who actually knew who he was outside of me, because he was Sabu and he was on whenever he was in the ring, no matter what the setting was, and was clearly, you know, head and shoulders above everybody else on any show he was in. Just from that point of view, it's just, that's the thing. It's the magnetic side of him that's the reason that he's so memorable to people, as well as the in-ring.
And that you nailed it, Ben, because in every promotion he was the same character. He was the same guy, because that was him. And I watched last night just clips like flicking through, and he said it's the only time he regrets it. He said he regrets going to WWE in general, he said on the interview, but he said
good lad.
One time where obviously Vince was trying to get him to talk and be like that talking babyface, and he was like, no. And he said he'd do it, but then he spun it his own way, and he still regrets it. He didn't speak as much. But yeah, why would you want to do that? You know, it's Sabu, you know. But at the same time, as you say, he got in there with Cena. The Rey Mysterio match at the second one night stand was a man. I was
thinking about that for the
and for good or bad, he's what we think a big show. He's still a push commodity in 06, weren't he? Well, obviously, we all agree he shouldn't have been. But he's in there. I must stand with him. You know, he was still in big positions with the WWE. And who would have known if he wouldn't have got busted, etc. So yeah, it's definitely, that's good on him though, isn't it? Sticking to his guns, sticking to his character, sticking to him, like that's testament to
and it's a matter of water. Obviously the bread and butter that I'm sure we'll be getting into at the weekend is obviously the ECW run, his influence on that, his overall just influence on the indies in general. Like he's the quintessential, you know, he's a guy who works in mainstream wrestling, but he's also the quintessential indie wrestler, isn't he? Like we're gonna cover all of that. Like that guy, you know, didn't have a contract anywhere, but you saw it. Not even just us over here, you know, the Americans reading like the aftermags would see pictures of him and see his name working wherever, and he was a draw. You know, he was one of those first indie draws just based on his name with no company attached. Like that's like he started that pretty much across the late 90s into even into the 2000s when he was on the outs with whichever company he was attached to at that point. But obviously I can't wait to get into it, like all the stuff we're going to talk about on him. We'll probably have to stop at the last match, because that has been the chatter over the weekend. Like there's obviously Joey Janela's put a statement.
What do you make of that, Ben? Like you I mean, I couldn't. Madness.
He's the way he worded it, I'm fairly confident he was fine. You know, and I kept in contact with him, and obviously Brett Lauderdale talked about how, you know, pretty much it sounds like since the original GCW Hall of Fame, you know, that they were going to put him in, they've been in close contact with him, and Brett Lauderdale has obviously known him for 20 years. And like, I think their intentions are good when they're talking about it, but like obviously talking about the fact like on the day Sabu was, you know, again in contact saying he can't walk, he's not coming, his feet are bleeding, I think is something Joey Janela's quoted as saying about him, to the point where like for a moment they made, like, I don't think the company really believed it, but Joey Janela believed he wasn't going to be on the show. I think Matt Tremont, JP's favourite deathmatch wrestler, was possibly going to be stepping into the role. Imagine that if Sabu's retirement match ended up like having him instead. And then Sabu gets to the show. He took some supplement called Kratom that all the well-meaning people, I would say, on Twitter are getting mad at GCW for that they let him in the ring when he was under no such state and shouldn't be taking like these drugs. It's like I've been reading up on it. It's like an opioid stimulant thing that people that you can buy like in 7-Eleven, or at least you can buy it like dispensaries and stuff like that. And yeah, it sounds like from Joey Janela's recounting of events, he's saying more than he should, that maybe, Sabu wasn't of solid nines when it came to the match. He even mentions that maybe there's a point, with obviously that barbed wire spot that we've all seen and enjoying the moment, and he lands on his head and all of that stuff, like Joey Janela believing that he was possibly knocked out at a point, which does, create questions about, the match taking place and going on, but it's hard to have that conversation seriously though when it's Sabu. I mean, I feel like that the deal with that is made kind of the day you book Sabu. Like, you've seen a lot of people kind of get on like the pedestal today on Twitter, and like I said, I don't see GCW aren't helping themselves. Joey Janela isn't helping himself going into this level of detail. I would just genuinely say shut up.
Log off.
And I think it's log off, which is good advice for all of us. But it's Sabu, isn't it? It's like, it's not right. But, like, when you book Sabu, I mean, do you not kind of, especially at that point in his career, like, you kind of expect that? And that's just Sabu. Like, how many matches, unfortunately, did he have through his career where he was in that state? Like, it would have, obviously there's a line in the sand that you don't want to cross. It's hard to kind of word it, isn't it? But, like...
Definitely.
Yeah, if you're Joey Janela and you're GCW... and he's willing to go through with the match, and Rob Van Dam's a great example of someone who wrestle high pretty much all the time. Sandman, would wrestle drunk all the time. It's not right. It's not right that it happened, and obviously it's not necessarily something you'd want kind of people doing today. But again, you book Sabu, that's kind of the bargain, isn't it? Like, are people really getting on the moral high horse about it? Like, is it surprising that happened, or that the match went like that? Like, that's just Sabu, is it not? It's kind of hard to verbalise, isn't it? It's not like it's one rule. Like, Steph was telling me off today for kind of having that point of view. I was like, yeah, but it's fucking Sabu. Why has anyone asked? I thought, yeah, Ben, he's not asked. And it seems like he was fine in the weeks afterwards, as far as we know. He did podcasts, he did interviews, he was talking about getting booked in other places. As far as we know, that last match didn't, say it resulted in like a brain aneurysm or something terrible like that coming straight off the match. But like, when we talk about Ric Flair's last match, like, I think maybe there's a conversation to have if that happens, but I don't think that happened. I think he got through the match how Sabu gets through matches, whether it's right or wrong, and I don't think the man Terry Brunk himself will be thanking the people on Twitter who are acting folk concerned and in his favour at this point. I said it on Sunday, like, did I expect Sabu to live to 60? If I'm honest, when I was watching him in the 90s when we were talking about him, like, did Sabu expect to? Probably not. It's hard to say that, obviously, when we don't know the full circumstances surrounding his death. Of course. There's something about it. I can understand the concern coming from a good place, but it just feels a bit naive with the person that we're talking about here.
It sounds stupid, Ben, as you say. Like, it's hard to verbalise, so whatever I say, I hope doesn't come across in the wrong way. But it's like, the fact he's died, though, Ben, that's the thing. It's like, you obviously can't say it any other time because...
No one would care, would they? We wouldn't be talking about it now.
No, that's what I mean. Like you say, he's probably went in matches in worse states. As you say, other wrestlers have went in worse states drunk. Jeff Hardy's been in... Other people have been in there. It's just obviously the unfortunate fact of he's dead now. That's what it is. So people are obviously going to jump on. Janela's not doing himself. He's trying to... I'm not sticking up for him by any means, but he's probably trying to explain like what's going on. But as you say, he's just going into too much detail. He's digging a hole for himself. He just needs to back off, have a bit more respect in a way, even if he thinks if he is or not, he's not. And just let it all like dust down and let's see what happens. And obviously what the causes of his death were as well, which obviously is
There's a follow tweet from Janela. We didn't give him kratom, his team did. It's also not illegal, and 85% of wrestlers do it, especially the ones on TV. So fuck you.
Fuck. Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some truth in that too, though, isn't there? There's things you probably don't want to know about. I'm never the safety police when it comes to wrestling. Like, it's just... I mean, the wrestling itself is fucking stupid. People land on their heads. Even the people who don't land on their heads, even the people who work the safe styles, who are constantly taking back bumps, like the untold concussions most of your favorite wrestlers are getting. There's just a bargain there. They've decided they're going to shorten their life and they're going to hurt themselves to provide you entertainment. Yeah. And the agreement we have as fans is we're willing to let them do that so that we can be entertained, and we're willing to look the other way, and we're willing to kind of just accept that's what it is, because it is really, if we're just being black and white about it, wrestling shouldn't exist. It probably should be illegal. It's fucking ridiculous. It's a stupid thing. Like, there should be a better way of doing it. Should then in 30 years, maybe they'll all be landing on trampolines, and it'll be like, did you know back in the day people used to take real bumps and really hurt themselves? That's ridiculous, you know? It's hard for me to get on my soapbox. It's like when people get like that about like MMA, and I'm just like, I think all MMA is terrible. Like all MMA is people getting punched in the head. Like I get it. Everyone's got the line in the sand, but I just don't know about having that line in the sand with Sabu. Like Andy says here in the chat, like, if GCW told them no, like, would he take no for an answer? Probably not. It's Sabu, isn't it? Like, that's, again,
that generation.
With. Like, it's probably not something that should fly now and would fly now. But when you're booking, somebody like him, that's kind of it. It's a tough one. But and that's the state of play now. Obviously, we don't know everything about the story, and I don't want to come across callous. But again, I just don't think these people who are pretending to give a fuck about Sabu probably found out who he was 2 weeks ago, that Sabu would want them to give a fuck about him, or needs their like sympathy and their, pale clutching on it, because it's just, that's not how he was, and that's not how he was right until the very end, when you take into context this quote-unquote final match, which probably wouldn't have been his final match anyway. He'd have been working fucking next week if he could. He'd be doing that fucking retirement tour payday thing, wouldn't he, where he'd be going around different indies and charging different amounts and showing or no showing depending on the day. That's Sabu, isn't it? That's who he was.
Yeah, but I just think for all concerned until it does come out the details, I think Janela does need to log off and just stop arguing with these people and stop giving them you know what I mean?
I've got sympathy for him though as well, to be in that position, it's how surreal it must be to have been in the ring with him, and 3 weeks
probably
later,
wanting to at the same time, until you say that, like, he's probably feeling something, isn't he, himself, and wanting to get this out, his own views out. So it is a very, very tough, and as I say, Ben, it's not an injury we're talking about, it's a death at the end of the day, so it's very, very tough one, very tough.
Yeah, it is. Well, there we go. That's Sabu, and obviously we'll be doing more tribute stuff on Sabu. Obviously this weekend. It's basically become the month of Sabu, and rightfully so. It should be, with obviously the legacy that the great man himself leaves behind, and it's for it's for good, bad, and ugly, and for for matches like the final match that I'm sure we'll cover in some form as well. But on that note, we should move on to the main topic that we've got to discuss today. We do have other wrestling to sort, Matty. Other wrestling is available for most of us, maybe apart from yourself. But unbelievably, WWE had a premium live event this weekend. You wouldn't have guessed it. I got up on Sunday morning Bangkok time to check the Discord, and there's like 3 messages talking about this Backlash show. Not even one of them was from you, mate. It's yeah, bit of a quiet one. Usually AEW, isn't it? We talk Fed Dead. Is that what we were talking about on there?
The real ones, Ben, enjoying it on their own, mate. They're the real ones. There's a few there. We're sick of getting pelters now. We
just have a group chat, like a private group chat where you chat about this together.
We genuinely should. We'll get the
Grapple 6.
The Grapple 6 together, and we should do that. But yeah, there was a premium live event, Benno. We'll hopefully talk about this. Interested to see your views, mate. I reckon it'll be a mixed bag, but
I only got around to watching it today.
Did you really?
I did. Obviously, we recorded on Sunday, but
I could tell. But genuinely, I could tell when we done weekend show that your interest levels were down, very much so. Like according to the card, as
I think most people's were.
Promotion, probably. And to be fair, obviously, I say the real ones like me, but it's like us fans, obviously the Fed, obviously are going to stick with it. But I can see why WrestleMania, even giving them goodwill, turned a few off. To be fair, with that end of Cena and Cody, I can honestly get that, because even I hated that. So
the good news is, mate, we're going to get it every month now until the end of the year with
give it a wide berth. I know
this revolving cast of characters of 2010.
Mixed bag on that, which we'll go into. A very, very mixed bag. I think the match itself was collateral damage, which we'll go into, I'm sure, in a bit. Anyway, we'll go into that. Yeah, Andy, I'm not answering that one until Benno asked me on air. Sorry, mate. I'm not answering that.
Well, the fun game was on Weekend Show. If anyone has listened to it, you went through and told me all of the different matches that were taking place, and I couldn't. I could probably have predicted a lot of them, but like some of them were surprises for me, including the opener. We'll go from the top on Backlash because there is only 5 matches because it's a Triple H fed show, so it's not going to take us long. So that's good. I'll take that. That's the one thing I'll take over at AEW PWG, at least when it comes to reviewing it. But yeah, we obviously kicked off the show with the 4-way match for the United States title. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Jacob Fatu. I don't know. Do we start with the match? Do we start with the aftermath?
We've got to start with the aftermath, haven't we?
Gets bigger, mate. As Jeffrey Cobb comes into the fold. Known Samoan wrestler Jeff Cobb, and we all knew that when he was in Lucha Underground. Like, does it matter to Triple H? Apparently not. Does it matter to the Bloodline? Apparently not. I was actually tempted. I was going to use as the background there. I might even swap it. We got the background right now is Jacob celebrating in the match. The other picture I was going to use I'd poor Jeff Cobb trying to pull off a few WWE moves in the tightest extra medium black t-shirt you've ever seen, which kept riding up on him. And as a bigger man, I'm aware of that. That can absolutely happen. You got to be careful with that stuff. You got to be, you stand in a bar and you've got like skinny jeans on, you've got a black t-shirt on that's a bit too tight.
Know, haven't you?
Be careful when you're getting up and down. He's trying to do fucking wrestling moves in it, and it wasn't didn't really cover himself with glory, including in the WWE gallery that they had on WWE.com. But yeah, he's here. I don't know how to kind of react to it. He's not somebody I ever expected to land in the WWE system. Obviously, he's had tryouts that he's talked about in the past, and I guess Triple H has been burning through his New Japan tapes and has picked him out. I guess it means Hikalayo's development isn't going great in developmental or training school or whatever it is, because they've gone with Jeffrey Cobb. I mean, I can't say he's somebody who, there's the picture in the background there as well. We're covering up here. You still look good, Jeffrey. When people were chanting that, though, Jeffrey Cobb at him in Progress Electric Ballrooms, again, he's a wild man. He's a big man when you see him in person. Me, Joe, and JP got a picture with him and Stephen Fludder one day. I mean, we're all taller than him, but, still a big imposing bloke. He's just... yeah, not the person I would have expected to be interested in. I don't know if he's somebody you predicted ever would land there.
He's not, but he's one. And to be fair, I'm going to use one of your lines. He's one of my guys. Like when I was banging to the Indies, he was good. He is. I loved him, Ben.
From when? PWG?
PWG. Love him in PWG. Fucking absolutely loved him, mate. Like, his matches were great. And it's just the moves in it. Obviously, the Tour of the Islands, the suplex version he done. Great moves, but I'm going to use your line here, Ben. It was
enough about Matanza.
It was 7-8 years ago. Do you know what I mean? He's 42 now. It's like... obviously he's getting his chance and good on him, and I want to see him what he does, and hopefully he can. I obviously didn't keep up with his New Japan run. Maybe JP or yourself could say how we got on there, but I'm still intrigued to see how he works out here. Yeah, see how he does. If he busts them moves out, it'll get over with the WWE fans own it, Ben. If he's in 6-mans and such, so we'll see how he gets on. But yeah, good to see him, and hopefully he does well.
He's just a perfectly... Is he? I mean, this is the biggest company in the world. You can sign anyone they want. I don't really care about begrudging people a living. It's my gimmick to not care. But even taking that aside, I just don't see the upside. I just don't. He's absolutely fine. When we were seeing him on Indies, I always thought he was fine. Yeah, he did some cool moves. You always needed the big guy, the base, to work with the usually smaller guys on the Indies, and he'd give you a good 3.75 star match, and then. Yeah, obviously the high point of his career is obviously that Matanza run in Lucha Underground for me, where they gave him a gimmick and he had a bit more personality because, they took the personality off him. He was a guy in a mask who needed, video footage and, all kinds of bells and whistles to make him appear to be this monster, and it really worked. On the Indies, you didn't really get that. In New Japan, you didn't really get that. He was fine. He was good enough. You could rely on him to maybe even get you a 4-star match every now and then. He'd be a good little mid to upper mid-card kind of guy, and you could put him in spots. You could have a tour that maybe doesn't matter too much. Oh, go on, we can put Jeff in the main event. A G1 where not much is going on. Oh, we can give Jeff Cobb a few wins. But he was never really a guy of consequence to the point where when Will Ospreay left, in the United Empire needed a leader. And there's been all kinds of kickoff that you've seen it on Twitter with the various members, TJP being key among them, giving Jeff Cobb grief for kind of doing his own storyline where he just held back whenever they did entrances and kind of acted aloof, like he wasn't part of the stable anymore. I think he just thought they were a bunch of geeks. But it's not like they immediately put him in that leader role, or he wanted that leader role, or he felt like the leader. He was just another guy making up the numbers, really. So, like, I feel like, dude, you've got enough guys on the contract that can make up the numbers. I just don't really see it. I mean, 42, prime age for a main event running the Fed, especially if you're a man, according to Big Ian as comments.
That's fair play, though, of course it is. I mean, it's I say the age, I go back.
I don't see the fit. Even in AEW, like, he did a couple of, like,
he was the high gun early on with Jericho, wasn't he? Yeah.
Fine, it's all right. He just exists, really. And he's not like he has all those upsides. Like, literally, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but he's not the biggest man in the world when you stand him next to Jacob Fatu, when you stand him next to Solo Sikoa, who aren't the tallest, really. Like, they're not gigantic as far as, like, height goes. He look kind of a little bit small next to them as well, and it's not like a Jacob where he's going to be so impressive that he's going to get past it. He's going to be impressive the first time. A lot of those Fed fans are going to see those spots. It's going to get a pop, and people are going to be into it. But long run, just another body really in a company that didn't need another body.
It is, but at the same time, like, I'm not expecting like a 4 or 5 year like big Jeff Cobb. I think he's just going to come in, plug him into a role, like you're saying, in the stable here, as another guy, as another heavy, you want to call them. Maybe not the tallest.
Surely there's Samoan wrestlers out there. Surely there's related ones they could go with. Like, it's borderline offensive, innit? It's like...
Is what... they always go with as well. Triple H always goes with, and The Rock even, like, they're not all related, are they? The bloodline, there's always...
Brothers they pricked each other's fingers, like fucking 10-year-old best mates, and like got the blood prick.
The dads and all that. There's all that.
Bollocks.
Which is well, if I love it, Benno. I want this storyline to never go. And within like what fucking series 25.
You ever done a blood out?
You should have been. What I haven't, Ben.
Yeah, we're in Godfather 3, mate. To steal your analogy.
But I want to see it continue. I'm loving it. It might, and I'm not. Obviously you're going to shut it down, but
the Tongans too.
We had Solo Sikoa, like it. Been dead in the water, Ben, and you're going to say right.
And now he's in the role he should be, a manager. Perfect, isn't
it? I'm hopefully this raises Solo up somehow, and for that Jacob and Solo feud to actually have a bit more juice. Because as you say, even I was like, well, you can't just read Solo up and expect him to be a threat to Jacob Fatu. Obviously, he's got a heater now and a body. Maybe that gives that some more juice, and Jacob will actually be a babyface. Where I think I said on the weekend show, it's kind of, we're at this point where he's got to be a babyface soon. It might have been Triple H's plans to do it.
He immediately teased it here, didn't he? Like, he clearly didn't know Jeff Cobb was coming out, and he walks off.
That's what they're going to do.
And he's getting a bit... they're just taking the time with it in fucking Triple H fashion. Like I say, I would have pulled the trigger and done it at WrestleMania. It's going to be SummerSlam, innit? It's literally going to be August by the time we get there. And by then, they might just go, you know what? Actually, that's Jeff Cobb's use. He can just do the wrestling for Solo Sikoa. He can work the match, and Solo Sikoa can be the valet on the outside, because that seems to be his role at this point. I mean, what did you think of it as a match? It did feel like... I mean... Again, not to give too much spoilers on my overall thoughts in this show, but I feel like it started strong and just kind of step by step got worse as the show got on, with one notable exception that we'll get to. But it was like WrestleMania weekend, and we talked about it at the time. Yeah. The multi-mans were the exciting matches, and Jacob showing his stuff off, and maybe doing a few things that wouldn't make Gareth proud was the star of the show.
Just appearing would make Gareth proud, but no, it was just exciting. I thought everyone looked good in this as well. LA Knight at the beginning got to shine on everybody. Obviously, the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre stuff in the crowd, where Drew looked, and I called that at the time when he banged his head. He missed that table on the South of Heaven off the equipment through the tables. They banged his head on the floor, rough. So you got all that, and then you got Fatu running wild with the swantons and the dives. And then you got that story at the end. You know me, Ben. I fucking love this. I absolutely loved it for action packed.
Did you literally put anybody in a black t-shirt and say they're in the bloodline and be into it?
I'm there, of course, Ben. I'm there.
What if they put Rhino in?
No, definitely not Rhino. No.
What if you find out he's got Samoan blood?
Oh, you're tempting me now, Ben. You're testing me.
Or if they bring Manu back?
No, not Manu either. But I'll say I've liked Jeff Cobb. He plugs in. Whether I'll say they're going to hopefully explain it. They're going to hopefully explain something on SmackDown. Maybe Solo's going rogue and getting more people in. Well, we hope they do.
They'll give it lip service. They'll do the best.
But I'm there. I enjoyed it. And I obviously probably the only guy who's looking forward to the Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. But yeah, I was
surprised how, like, quick notes on it. I was surprised how over LA Knight was coming out. So it's like the pay-per-view opener. He's kind of been kind of brushed to the side overall, apart from like the random get a WrestleMania
Genuinely.
match. The crowd invested, yeah.
It is.
This crowd were great all night, to be fair. They were very good.
He's still there, like, and you can say somehow, you can say what you want about him, but considering who's been pushed ahead of him, who's done this, that, and he stayed consistently over, and that's, like, as I say, testament to the man. Got to give him that credit, like.
Drew does his best as well to pretend like he's asked about this Damien Priest feud. He does his best.
He's not like it. You can tell.
He doesn't want to be in it, does he? Like,
no, you can just tell. And it's rubbing off on Priest a bit, and I'm like, if you just got into it, lads, like I
they're got a feud forever.
Yeah, last year, like, but if they're not into it, you can tell, can't you? And they're gonna obviously with that spot have one more match maybe to blow it off. I don't know. Like, there's certain things, Ben, you think I love everything, but there is certain things when we nitpick away like that can be done. That's one of them. That is one of them. Let's move them on and get on to other feuds, like. But
look forward to hearing about that when we get to the main event. Enough on that. What do you make of the second match? A lot of people's match of the night, Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Obviously, you've got the follow up on Raw with the Becky Lynch promo to talk about as well. But yeah, Lyra Valkyria and a familiar face of LJ Cleary in the crowd. Who's been getting some pelters from the Fed fans out there who'd never seen a man in glasses before. So it's Clark Kent in it. Oh, he's got glasses on, so he must be ugly. Weird. People are fucking weird, but. Yeah, I think this is one on the quiet you've been into as a feud and as a story. We both kind of share that and keep Becky at arm's length type of stuff on the promos, but even I have to say the Raw promo was good, and yeah, Lyra's gotten herself to this point and is carrying it really well as champion.
Said that on the weekend show, like, whether you're saying it's on the sly, underratedly, quietly, she's been one of the best wrestlers, like, consistently on Raw. Well, since I've started watching it again, Ben. Since I've started watching Raw again, she has been.
This month?
I've started watching it before WrestleMania. We're still there. It's easier.
I mean, that's not to be proud of.
No, fully. No, I always watched it, but, like, literally start to finish without even pressing fast forward or skip or nothing.
You know, it's been going on for 35 years. Probably could have watched it before.
I was there in the other days as well, weren't I, Ben? I was there before there. Always, but she has been so good, like, especially in the ring, and she's a kind of wrestler that's got over on the in-ring performances, which is kind of rare nowadays. I know she's getting the mic time with Becky Lynch, and I think people have been a bit praising her. Like, I don't think she's been amazing on the mic, but she's standing her ground and giving it her best. Fair play, and she'll only get better once again the more mic time she gets. But it's in ring for me, like, she's just so solid, isn't she? So fucking crisp. One for Gareth. I think Gareth will really appreciate it if he has been watching, or maybe we can talk about it next time when on the show, or if we see him in real life. But yeah, and I was shocked that I think we both had Becky winning, didn't we, on the weekend show? So it was good to see Lyra actually getting.
When I found out the match was happening, that's what I went with.
And then afterwards, obviously Becky getting her revenge straight away. Like, but yeah, I thought it was a crisp match, Ben. Really, the fans were into it. But it was, you were buying it all,
weren't you? Like the submissions towards the end, and they had the momentum changes and stuff like that. They were invested in Becky losing, which again, with it being a very new heel turn and it's been a bit of a strange story. It surprised me, but then they kind of capitalized on that on Raw, and did a good job with it. It was. I wasn't expecting this to be possibly the match of the night, and it was absolutely up there.
100%. And as I say, like, I mean, I haven't seen fully the Give Me Pelters the Raw yet. I haven't had time with work and such, but I'm looking forward to watching it, and I've heard a few things about Becky, so it'll be good.
I think it was the most solid that Lyra's looked as well, and like, you don't usually get like a few of those botches and a few of those like not quite steady on her feet kind of moments. They were all saved for Pat McAfee later in the night, but probably one of the more of assured appearances all in all. So yeah, by WWE standards, I thought that was a solid little match. I'm not just being nice as we lead to where I'm not going to be nice. Up next, we had Dominic Mysterio and Chad Gable. Not Chad Gable, Penta. Unless you've got more on that with obviously the Chad Gable interference. Didn't think much of this going into it. I wasn't really sold on it. I think Dominic Mysterio obviously getting over as like a weird kind of pseudo babyface. Just when this happens with a heel, it's never good for the babyfaces. They have to work because they just especially Penta, who's just getting his foot on and is mostly getting his foot and getting over. His stuff is massively over. His catchphrases, he turned out to be actually more so than Phoenix. Perfectly suited for WWE as far as like being a catchphrase wrestler that the crowds have got onto. Yeah, Phoenix is in a little bit of danger of getting lost in the crowd there. Because I hit Penta a little bit the Dirty Dom stuff, and obviously him hitting that dive to the outside got a big pop, and
unbelievable that DDT
attempts at Heath got over outside of it. But yeah, I think he said on Twitter, didn't he, saves one of those a match, and it always works for him. The slow face turn of him continues, I suppose, but as a match outside of that spot, I didn't think it was much the right home about. Really, I thought this was the first big disappointment of the night.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as negative as yourself on it, but obviously it wasn't a barn burner or nothing like that. I love Dom. What you're saying there is right about it. Might eat up some, I thought it was better obviously than WrestleMania, where everyone got swept up by and ate up by the Dominic stuff. But I think Penta
yourself included.
Yeah, it was just all right with it, and it could eat more people alive up. Of course it can, but that DDT though, Ben, I wasn't expecting. It was fucking brilliant. That was so good. The suicide dive right into the twisting DDT. I fucking pop when I see the.
It was all Penta. Penta was controlling that entire thing.
But basically, years of experience, and the destroyer I could see on the apron and a fucking mile off. But that was always good to see as well, especially in WWE. And then we get more stuff with the.
I mean, it's normal now in WWE. It's not that unusual.
Well, on the apron maybe, Ben, but with Judgment Day and stuff like that coming out, and we're going, as you say,
it's sick of that shit.
It's similar to Fatu, but where deep down, I'd never have Jacob Fatu as a face, but I can see you could kind of not tweak the character. And you could still present him, promote him as a baby face, but you could still not change the character. With Dominic Mysterio, you just can never have him as a face, no matter what. You're going to have to try and get this support. The
MJF problem, innit?
He can't be a face, and it'll just go the other way again. Once he is a face, they'll just boom again. He genuinely will. He's just a career heel for now. He can never go back babyface ever.
You've almost got to do something to solidify it, haven't you? You've got to let the fans tease.
Yeah, you can't.
They should come close, and then he should do something terrible, and then he's a heel again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's about to turn good, and he doesn't. Whereas with MJF and AEW, they just kind of couldn't help themselves, could they? But try it, and it caused untold damage. And the same on Jacob Fatu. To go back to him, I absolutely think he's long term, obviously, is a big bad heel. So I would only make it short term as a face, just to give him that big Batista moment and do the big turn and stuff. But you'd get him back heel as soon as possible. That'd be my advice on that.
The finish as well with the Penta and Dom, it's it is what it is with Gable coming out, and they are just it's going to carry on until the Worlds Collide show, isn't it, in Mexico? So we're gonna get the payoff of the hair versus mask or mask versus mask, whatever's going to happen. So you're just going to get another.
That could go one or two ways. Chad Gable doing that gimmick in Mexico, but feels like they're pushing forward with it. More on that in a little bit, but mostly a forgettable match. But this next match, Matty, is not forgettable whatsoever. I don't know if I'm gonna shock you here, but Gunther and Pat McAfee, I absolutely fucking love this.
I do
from the start to the end.
Yeah.
Even just Pat McAfee popping his top off. I mean, granted. You've got to get I think the only way you can get through this match, and we just watched. For some reason, you didn't rate it. Walter versus Zack Sabre Jr.
No.
Have a almost 5-star technical classic WXW match where all the little intricate things mattered, and it was a match for the sickos or just generally people with taste. I would probably say this is exactly what I was talking about when we talked about that. That Walter obviously did that on the Indies, and this is his pop albums that he's putting out is what he's doing in WWE. The broader style. There's no broader style than doing a match like this with an announcer and Pat McAfee. I just thought you've got to allow the credit that Pat McAfee is a credible athlete at the start of it. And I think even though he was a kicker, because he's done matches before and they've given him some credibility and he's done his, oh my God, he can do moves off the top rope. He's had that era. He's had those matches. He's kind of got that in the bank. So I think you can forgive it. But even if you couldn't, I think they drew the line perfectly in this because it was Gunther as as we talked about, the fucking gorilla against the 100 men, and Pat being the kind of regular man, even down to him like I say, not looking great when he popped his top off, or slipping on the top rope when he tried to hop over. I'm Cole covered for that great on commentary, he's not. That just shows you that he's not quite. I think it might have been Wade Barrett actually. It just shows you he's not fully a trained wrestler. He doesn't quite know what he's doing in there. If you're going to do that fish out of water match, I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Every moment Gunther killed him on one of those chops. It was again, not to date the record when we were doing the In Your House show, when Shawn Michaels would fight the bigger wrestlers. Me and Hamlet were talking about it. It'd always be Shawn would get 5 or 6 punches in, and then it'd take one blow from Diesel for him to go down. Bret would do the same thing, And that's how, in those days of we're smaller, they'd make that logic work. It was the same here, except it was 20 digs from Pat McAfee, and it'd be one shot from Gunther, and he'd be fucking dead. But the logic was there, because it's always going to be there, because it's Gunther/Walter, and he's going to give you that. Like, there were definitely moments in the match where Pat forgot where he was. There was very clear pot calling. That was definitely Pat. Spot calling from Gunther in this one. But that almost helped it. The fact that it was just that little bit more ugly than a WWE match, that it was that little bit more stiff. You could tell Gunther was telling Pat to lay it in when he was like slapping him.
Definitely.
And then Gunther was hitting him back. And then, again, leave your brain at the door stuff. That was maybe the more realistic element of it. Obviously, you've got to give Pat his big kind of comeback and the daft double moonsault he tried to do where he landed on his own ass. The fucking... Those punt kicks, was he doing them in his first couple of runs? Because they're fucking shit. Like, it took me a few minutes to be like, why does he keep doing like a running kick to Gunther when he's on the floor? Oh, it's because he was a kicker in the NFL. That's what I'd probably leave that at the door, just learn how to do a lariat instead. It'd probably be better for you. But like, even that daft hope spot leading to Gunther, I'm always a sucker for him just killing somebody with the power bomb. Even the Boston Crab spot with, like, I thought getting Cole in the ring was done right. It was all prime bullshit. But like Cole getting in the ring, even and grabbing Gunther's foot was a fun little spot. Yeah. Gunther wanting to kill him, and I'm glad it was definitive. You got that little bit of a hope, and then it was kind of going for the choke, going for the Jey Uso finish, and getting countered and lariated. I probably would have finished it there. I probably wouldn't have given back the Hogan and out bit where he's kind of fist pumping, trying to. It almost felt like he called that on the fly. He just decided himself he's going to get another comeback. Yeah. And then obviously Gunther had to kill him. But like, that aside, and maybe the respect stuff after the match, I could probably have done a little bit without. It felt a little bit like, it felt like Gunther wanted to shake his hand.
He does that,
and he was saying to the ref, "Can I shake his hand?" And the ref, somebody on the mic was going, "No." So he kind of did like a half measure, which didn't really work. It reminded me of him and Ishii, where, remember when him and PCO did like the chop respect, where they both chopped each other and then shook each other's hands? I was in York Hall for his match with Ishii, and after the Ishii match, he tried to say, like, call that to Ishii, "I'll chop you, you chop me," and then we shake hands. He chopped Ishii. Ishii didn't understand what was going on, just turned around, pissed off, and left the ring. It felt like that. It felt like probably should have like called that in the back if you were going to do it, rather than just in the moment deciding you're going to do it. But I think it fits his character. He's the type who would, respect somebody who goes through like a good battle with him. But that aside, again, just prime sports entertainment bullshit. The prime example of how good Gunther is, even in this role, even if it's maybe not exactly what we all want to see. Yeah, we want to see him eat a few pyres. Yeah, we want to see him a bit bigger. Yeah, we want to see him have technical classics. But he can be the big bad, even if he's not the big man anymore in a moment like this. And he's perfect as that villain in a moment against fish out of water babyface and Pat McAfee. My kind of match. I really love this.
But that's kind of like in a different way what I was saying about, I know people didn't love them like priest matches. We all know Gunther can do what you just said, have them technical classics, have them type of matches. I like seeing him like when he is a bit out of his comfort zone in that, and I know people were in agreement with that story with the priest and stuff where he was backed into a corner. This again, prime, like, this is Gunther doing a WWE.
I mean, you were wrong about that, but yeah.
Bullshit, man. No, but I like to see it though. It's just seeing different how good he is though. Like, this is it. Like, me, I've all been Gunther.
He was your wrestler of the year last year.
He is amazing.
He doesn't work for AEW.
He's the all-rounder. He genuinely is. Like, on the mic, even, he's fucking brilliant. He takes his character seriously, what people should do as well. He toes that line at times. He's fucking brilliant. And I'd say, Pat McAfee, Ben, like, what you want to say about him? Just, I said it on the weekend show, you're not going to get, like, I know we got the two moonsaults, but we didn't get, like, Destroyer, diving all over the place. Pat McAfee, we had
Gunther probably said no.
Sympathetic, what he was going to be, babyface performance. I didn't think it'd be like this much sympathetic and go for it all the time, but it was. I had so much, honestly. Fun is, I know you said on another show recently, it's not a derogative comment with this.
It can be.
It can be, but not with this one, it wasn't. This was fucking, I loved it so much. I was off my feet when Pat done off the top, that landed on his feet, and then the other German reverse. Honestly, just
all for a micro. I wish they put this much effort into other stuff, like for a microwave feud that like took place over the last 3 weeks. Like, it was so rushed. I still don't understand why it took place on this show. We'll get into the booking on Raw. I don't really understand what direction they're going into. Unless
whether you think it was what I said on the weekend. It's just to reheat Gunther back up after a loss, getting him back up, and obviously ready for what's coming as well in a couple of weeks. So that's why I thought it was fine. And you could sacrifice a wrestler on the roster, but that's just the way Triple H works sometimes. Someone who is Pat McAfee, who is for whatever you think of him, over with the fans. Amazingly, you can just get that sympathy off that, and it's not a wrestler you have to sacrifice. So I don't have a problem with that. And it has been built well. It's been built as well. Good. It's not as if it was just a shit build as well. It had a great angle, couple of good promos, and a good match. Love a mini feud, Ben. I think there's not enough of them anymore in wrestling where it's done, you know what I mean, in a few weeks. Everyone's got to go on for like 6 to 8 months, like title reigns. Why? Let's just have different stuff, calling it and intertwining with storylines. That's why I liked it. And it delivered. One of a bad word said against the body. Fucking great stuff. It was.
So if we're agreeing that this delivered, and obviously Pat McAfee's probably,
here we go.
You know,
I'm
not the greatest in ring.
I'm waiting for the line. I'm waiting for it.
We're giving the credit to Gunther, right?
I've got a counter for this, but I've had the counter all week for it. Go on. And you're not gonna
even you would have to agree this was better than Jey Uso WrestleMania match, right? Platt's already hitting it in the chat there. Like, is it even controversial for me to poke the bear here and say that this was better than the Jey Uso WrestleMania match? Yes or no?
This is hard for me because
it's not hard. It was better.
No, because I'll never.
That's not the question.
Have a moment like seeing Jey Uso win the title at WrestleMania, and
that's not the question.
So, okay,
politician, you're dodging the question. Was it a better match?
I'd probably say I had more fun, and it was like the way it was laid out. Probably
was it a better match?
I'd say just yes. So go on, say it. Go on.
Well, what does that tell you?
Okay, well, the counter to that is then Seth Rollins had a better match with Jey Uso on Raw than Gunther had at WrestleMania. Is Seth Rollins better than Gunther? No, he's not. So that's the other counter to it, isn't it? It is.
They had a good TV match.
No, well, it was a better match than Gunther at WrestleMania. So, but Seth Rollins isn't as good as Gunther, is he? So you can say that.
I suppose
it's the way. I can't believe you actually go agree with that. Fucking hell, I've actually got a good point there for once. Fucking hell.
I mean, it's one of those where, like, I think you wanted to blame Gunther for the WrestleMania match with Jey Uso and for it to be his fault that that match wasn't good. Do you not think the common denominator in those matches, all those big Jey Uso matches, is usually him? Usually he's there. It's this is like WrestleMania weekend where we had Minoru Suzuki working a better match with a fucking blow up doll than he did with Butterbean. Like, Pat McAfee is the blow up doll in this analogy. Like, he absolutely is. I don't look the Seth TV match with Jey Uso. I conceded that when we talked about it on the weekend show. It was a good little TV match. That's fine. WrestleMania, the big spot for Jey Uso. He let us down, didn't he? 3 times in a row when it comes to those big matches.
I disagreed at the time, though, that I didn't think, like the way you said, we had this last weekend? Was it weekend show just gone? It felt like 3 months ago we were arguing about this, but that's why I stuck up for it, because you were so negative on that match. Yeah, it wasn't amazing, but I still think
it wasn't good.
I can't believe what you're saying. You're saying it was bad. It wasn't bad. I'm not recycling that. We disagreed on that, and we always will. It wasn't by any means bad. It could have been better. But this was obviously laid out better and told a different thing. And I think, and I'm not just saying it, we go into that. We have our favourites, don't we? It's better seeing Gunther winning because he seems like one of them wrestlers. People can say, I have my favourites, and we all have our favourites. You can say what we're marks for whoever we are. We all have got them. And I think people just don't like to see. Gunther's one of them wrestlers, like CM Punk, where the people who like him are so very, like, staunch with it. That like they don't like.
I mean, everyone, like anyone would taste.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though. It's like people straight away. Gunther shouldn't be seen like that. Shouldn't be tapping out. Why
no,
not?
He shouldn't.
Yeah, but you've got to.
Because it was an ineffective use of him as world champion.
Yeah, but you can't go through your whole career being the exact same. You can't. You've got to have little pivots here and there.
Well, he should wear a red hat and he should dance. That'd be different. Just as different doesn't mean it's good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that by any means. You put words in my mouth there. I'm saying a little thing which it does make sense to finish the Jey Uso match. He's done it before.
It wasn't the finish that anyone had the problem with. It was the build to the match. Jey Uso is a bad wrestler who didn't have the match that earned that finish. Unfortunately, like it's true. It's like to throw your argument back on your head.
But he's Gunther's in there with. You can say what you want. He was still in there in a big match that had a full stadium with a big moment. He might have got a better match per se out of whoever else you want to put in.
Everyone else in his career, pretty much.
Yeah, but he might have had the investment at a WrestleMania that people were invested in, weren't we? That's where the difference is.
Yeah, but you take advantage of that if you're a good wrestler.
You want a 70-star match, or you want a big moment with investment where the fans are reacting to everything.
Just a good match would do.
That's where we
And the weak man in that match was Jey Uso. So your argument on its head, Gunther and Seth is a better match than Seth and Jey Uso as well.
I've never said Jey Uso is the greatest wrestler. You look at all the hours I've done on these podcasts, I've never said.
But he should be better than he is for a spot, shouldn't he? It's disappointing that every time he gets in that big spot, he should.
And I'm not throwing he's a nice little tag wrestler in there, but he is still kind of. I know it's been a couple of years now. Don't get me wrong, but he's still kind of finding his feet and getting pushed out of nowhere. Which not out of nowhere. Sorry, that's being actually fucking disrespectful. Ain't the push with the popularity. Do you know what I mean? But he probably still can't believe himself that he's being in this position. He's being in this. And granted, you probably improve, of course you have to. But I don't think. Once again, my overall point is, people say, and you might never ever change that he's bad. But I don't think that Gunther match you're saying, because you literally it was bad, and that's where we disagree. It wasn't bad.
I mean, in the pantheon of Gunther matches, this Pat McAfee match is probably somewhere in the middle to the lower middle, but like it's somewhere in there. You know, the Sami Zayn match, I love that last WrestleMania. I'd have that like towards the upper level, but not quite the tip top tier of great Walter matches that we've seen over time. I think Gareth was quoted as saying it wouldn't be in his top 100. I wouldn't go that far, but it's up there. The Jey Uso match is in the bottom 5 or 10%, and that's the big WrestleMania match and possibly the biggest match of Jey Uso's career.
The biggest moments he'll ever be involved in, so that's how we look at it differently.
And he's had 3 of them.
But that's fair enough. He'll never be involved in a bigger moment. He'll never have well, he might maybe the triple threat that he had the other WrestleMania, but I don't think there's a bigger pop or a bigger moment in his career that he'll have with Jey Uso. So it's also for us how you see wrestling. That's what I say why it's great. We can all look at it differently. If you have good matches, as CM Punk said, your main man, your fucking idol, your hero. If you're having if some goof is going to label these matches 5 stars and fucking no one's in the building, we're in the wrong.
We're not talking about goof, we're talking about me.
We're in the wrong fucking business. You can have.
What's that got to do with anything?
We could have good matches in front of nobody. It doesn't matter, does it? Really?
Or you could have good matches in the biggest moments of your career in front of 50,000 people. But you can choose not to.
We all love a good match, of course we do. It's not the be all end all. I'm not going opening this debate. Anyway, it's not
about that. It's whether Jey Uso has good matches or is a good wrestler.
I've just said he's not the greatest wrestler, but he's over.
That's the most you got to admit it.
Yeah, of course, he's not the best. He's not, but he's not. I don't think he's terrible. People think I don't think he's terrible. He can be better. Of course he can. But you know,
he could be Pat McAfee maybe one day. Maybe he can train hard enough and get to that level.
Not every wrestler's gonna be a Gunther. Not every wrestler's gonna be.
Not everyone's gonna be a Pat McAfee.
Not everyone's gonna be a Pat McAfee plugged and agented into your death of life. You know what I mean? And good on him. Fair play. I like Pat McAfee. I'm not turning on him here, but it's all matches laid out differently, etc. We could go on forever, and we will.
Quite excited for Jey to have to work with fucking Logan Paul. We'll see how who carries that one.
I tell you,
make it work Goldberg at the Saudi show. We'll see who has to carry that one. Spear versus Spear, as somebody said in the Discord today.
Mate, I mean, I'll say we'll talk about that booking in a bit. But
80s Jim Duggan as a catchphrase, awful in ring. I think the comparison is apt. You know, he's over. He did the hard pit, Matty. Shame he can't do what is apparently easy, which is our 5-star matches in empty buildings.
I didn't say it was easy.
You did say it was easy on weekend show. You absolutely did.
I said everyone's a good, air quote, great wrestler, aren't they, these days? No one does, apart from Jey Uso, apparently. So, but I think I'd rather be in Jey Uso's position than insert mid-card wrestler who's
not the question
in front of no
but anywho, we can move those goalposts. I agree with Andy.
We always will
start coming to the ring with a red balloon like that.
You put words in my mouth.
That'll get him over. You should lose more matches. You should show more ass.
No, I'm not.
Pat McAfee should have won, shouldn't he? If you were booking, Pat McAfee would have gone over. That's my worry.
Hey, listen, no, I was watching it with Corrie, my mate, and he was petrified, and I'm talking petrified. He had Pat McAfee down as winning the match beforehand. I said, "What, you know?"
I wouldn't have put it past him.
That's what he was like. That he was like the way they're setting up for Goldberg, etc. Pat McAfee, and I was like, no, that it's a rehab of Gunther. Whether he needed it or not is another case.
He did need it because they booked him as you would have advised them to book him terribly, and I'm glad they fixed it.
Great feud. Well, I say great feud delivered in 2 angles, 2 promos, a well-received match. Let's move on. It went the end of the way. I'll say let's have more mini feuds in wrestling. That's one I'm advocating.
Gunther versus Michael Cole next, fingers crossed. Well, moving on from there. We're just going
to match today, Jey Uso.
I've just realised we spent 15 minutes on that only to get to this next match where I'm certain we're going to agree. I should have saved me vitriol for this. Our main event. You sit there, Matthew. What's your name? Like?
I've got one.
Matthew? You haven't got. I didn't think you did. I was trying to think if you had one. Matthew Edwards. Even you
Go on.
Surely,
Go on.
surely, I have to admit that this main event was the shits. Like John Cena, Randy Orton, and I'm gonna cut you off. You had arguments ready for me. I've got an argument ready for you. I know what you're gonna say. What did you expect? Well, I wouldn't have booked it in the first place. Was it any worse than their matches in the past? No, that's not an excuse to book it in 2025. Okay. Could they have done better? No. Did they need the bullshit? Yes, we talked about it on Weekend Show. They needed the bullshit because really, them two in their current positions, especially John Cena, the way we've seen him on recent form, could not have carried a match without it. They needed the finishes spamming. They needed the stealing each other's finisher stuff. They needed the bollocks with the road agents coming out and Randy Orton in the RKOs. God knows they needed that because the first 20 minutes before they got to that was 20 of the most boring minutes of my entire life. I've seen people call that good, say that part of it was the good part of the match. That was the part of the match that made me want to go to fucking sleep. And also meant nothing once you got to the second half of the match and it just got to the nonsense and it got to the fucking best ofs with them. And I feel like I know what you're going to say. This was for people like you. This was for the sickos who were in the trenches when WWE was fucking terrible for 20 years and you just got a greatest hits of all the things that you loved in 2010, the 2010s. Look at the fans. They went crazy. Fuck you. It was Randy Orton's hometown crowd. Look at the fans when Rhino turned up on Dynamite. It doesn't mean they're right. This was fucking terrible. They shouldn't have booked it. The John Cena title run is a bust. The finish was terrible. Run the Truth Killings getting involved in your finisher in 2020 in your finish in 2035, completely unforgivable. The uncreativeness of the finish with the fucking belt shots right out of 2005. John Cena's ideas haven't moved on. The road agent hasn't moved on. It had to happen because it was the only way you could do this match, but the blame lies with the company for thinking they could book this match again. You wanted to do Cena versus Orton one last time? Do it on a Saturday night's main event with 1 week's build. Do it on a fucking house show. You didn't need to do it on a pay-per-view here, especially at this point when this John Cena world title run is running on fumes. And yeah, awful, awful stuff. And I've not even seen the most hardcore WWE fans defend it. But I imagine I'm about to hear someone track.
Right, it's a mixed bag for me. Because I agree.
28 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was. I thought it'd come in longer than that. So you've surprised.
12 minutes shorter than the Double or Nothing fucking main event that we watched on the mixtape, and somehow felt like 27 minutes longer.
A mixed bag, Ben. I agree with some of the things you said, and then I disagree. Obviously, it's for as good for Cena versus Orton, like you said there. It was as good as you're gonna get in 2025.
I think that's a good that's not good enough, though, is it?
No, I'm not saying no, but no, it is. It's you can't expect nothing else out of that. I thought for as I say there, for as good as you're gonna get, it was. It needed all the bollocks at the end. I expected all the bollocks at the end. I don't mind that you're saying about the belt shot, whether you like it or not. That's just gonna be seen as gimmick now. It's poetic, as he's saying. No, with being the last champion, using the title, symbolic, whatever you want to say, whatever. Okay, I'm not saying it's great.
Put it in a kid's book.
It's going to be expected, yeah.
Simple.
So I'm not going to take, because I thought I was still like, I had like when you have a smile, but it doesn't show on your face. Watching something, I was like, you know what, fair play to them. But what I can't, and I think I said the term collateral damage before, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I think the match is collateral damage of the Cena overall heel turn, which even me now, I've been trying to cling on to. It's awful now. He needs something. It's got to evolve, but it's not going to. It is. It's getting borderline. Like, come on, let's do something different. And then Ron Killings, I'm trying to ignore it. I'm trying to not talk about it. I'm trying to just pretend it's not happening. To be honest with you, because
I can't believe it.
I'm trying to put it into Triple H's mind, the book and this Cena thing, where it's like, whether you like Randy Orton or not, or you would have that in WWE canon, WWE law, you've got to have that. You're going to have the Punk match. That is a big part. You're probably even going to have whoever against Cena's rivals, The Miz, which is going to be fucking awful, but we're going to have to sift through all this bollocks because that's his way of telling the story. But we didn't need. Like, I know it's cute, like he's his favourite wrestler and stuff like that, but fuck me, we don't need a world title match. We don't, Benno. I can't talk about it because I'll fume. I'll get angry.
Fume, go for it. Take my role.
What is the point? Like, seriously, what? I can't, Ben. I'm speechless.
He shouldn't be on the show. Never mind in the world title match.
No, I don't mind him proper. He shouldn't wrestle. He shouldn't be wrestling anymore. He's a character you have. like a carrying cross, all right, whatever that pops up, that's fine. Have him got wrestle. Like, he's getting over, whatever. I don't know. You can't have him. Even if he does have to wrestle. I hated him winning the tag belts with Miz last year at WrestleMania because he got over and you have to use him. This is for the world title in this last John Cena run that we're meant to be taking serious. Who's taking that serious? No one is. And it was embarrassing.
No one's a Horton serious either, but you know.
No, but there's a different for WWE fans. There's a different thing for that, even though.
Yeah, but nobody except the people that built thought Orton was ever going to win that match.
Oh no, to that. Okay, yeah, okay, he was never going to win, but I could totally see why they done that match. Of course, it was the first match I thought of, and the excitement that they're going to have to run back. But this is like, Jesus, and the press conference stuff that was embarrassing. Even I say that, I've seen people say it before I watched it, and I thought, oh, what are they going to do here? This can't be that bad. And then I watched it, and it was like Cena trying to pretend to apologise. It was embarrassing. It really was. And I've never been a John Cena.
Post-show stuff was embarrassing. Cena grabbing the mic and all that stuff was just crap.
I've never been a John Cena guy, as you know.
You're getting the world champion. You deserve it. I'll take it on
but we all got roped in for the big moment, and by The Rock again, like we did. We done insert quick podcast about it because it was such a great. It was a great. I'm not going to turn on the moment itself because it was great, but the follow up has been.
It's worse and worse with the passage of time, though, doesn't it?
Diabolical every week, Benno. It's terrible. It's getting worse.
Yeah. There's your title.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly ignoring the only saving grace is that it's 2 weeks away and we get 2 TVs and we're done. Like I don't even want to see it because how are they going to make people interested in that? Because even I'm not going to be interested. I don't want to see it.
Wait, so when do you think it's taking place? Saturday night's main event? Money in the Bank?
It's been announced. I think it's been announced.
Oh, it's been announced?
Yeah.
Has it? I missed that. Sorry, I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's been announced for it. So it's embarrassing, Benno. That's the word I can say. Embarrassing.
Awful. It is. And I'd stand by that. When I see truth on WWE TV, to me, it's just like, what? Like, I just don't think he should be there. Who finds him funny still? Like, who's still, like, giggling at that stuff? You could do the odd funny tweet. Like you say, the meme about, like, growing up, like, watching John Cena. Yeah. That's a funny gimmick to run on Twitter, not on the show, and not to lead to a match. The only explanation is that John's asked for it. And then even then you say no, don't you? As Andy's saying in the chat, he saw Rock throwing his weight around and has decided to book his own retirement tour. Oh, yeah, I don't want to work Ronnie. No, mate. 2025. We got a lot of so far, mate. I mean, I'd count Orton on the list. I didn't want to see Cena and Orton one more time. Didn't want to see it the first 20 times. Didn't want to see it 2025.
I don't want to see that. Yeah.
But that's 2 now. Like, I mean, it's all going to be like, you know what this feels like? It feels like, when Cody got the belt and you were like, oh, we'll see what happens now. And I'm like, yeah, because I can't wait for I had this long list of matches. Punk, Gunther. None of that happened. Instead, he was working fucking...
AJ.
Did he work? AJ? Like, you know what I mean? It was like
Logan
always lesser than guys. You never actually got the matches you wanted. I think a lot of the fantasy booking, fucking hell, a lot of the fantasy booking that people have got for the Cena title, when they pull it back, might never get that Punk match.
But no, obviously because of your fandom, you will be interested in the Punk one. But you'd even think, and to be fair, they did have decent chemistry in the Elimination Chamber. The magic was there for 5 minutes. Can you recreate that for 35 minutes though? You know what I mean? At the same time, is this on a lesser scale? Is this Omega Okada, where it's like, all right, we know we want to do it, but on a much lesser scale, of course, compared to them, because they'll still probably have a fast-paced, good match. Punk and Cena at this point, what the fuck are we going to get with that, Ben? And I'm waiting, begging for Cody to come back. I want him to come back and take the title off him.
You're cheering now. You and the gobshites in that fucking stadium. To be hung drawn and quarter for that, you bastards. He's hiding now.
Yeah, he is. He's
hiding from you. It's your fault.
But yeah, don't want to. No one wants to see it. Not just me. Nobody. There's nobody that surely wants to see this match. And yeah, as I say, the only slight
John himself
positive is it's going to be over and done within 2 weeks. But fuck me.
And again, last thing on that main event, same for the main event. To be honest, I just think the people in St. Louis wanted to see it, obviously, because it's hometown guy. Doesn't mean that makes entertaining television or entertaining pay-per-view ending. As Platt says here, 10 minutes. What it probably should have been is that, the finisher spamming and all that stuff and just get it over with. Not make that last 28 minutes. Or, again, not book it in the first place, so you have to do that for cover up for it. How are they going to cover up the rest of these Cena matches? How are you going to cover up? Are you going to get entertainment value out of an R-Truth match unless it lasts 3 minutes? Like, what are they possibly going to do? Like, to fill the time to cover up for the shit.
It will be, Ben. It's got to be a short one. It's got to be definitely
short shows,
aren't
minutes. They? So that's probably the one thing you can stick to. But Jesus,
but as you say,
that we're all going to call it. It is, and we did. I was not the most impressed out of people, but still tried to half class full it and go, well, we can rubberneck it. We can see what Cena does as a heel. I've seen it now. It's not interesting.
He's not going to change it up at this point anyway, is he? Because he's not probably asked and just going to phone this in until he turns back babyface. And yeah, Cody, come on, mate. Get your ass back. Let's go.
Anything more on this show or that main event or R-Truth?
No, I enjoyed the show. I did. I really enjoyed the show.
Of course you did.
I did. Thought it was a... And whether you say there's a thing, I thought it flew by as well. There was no bollocks of like, I noticed the way it's no one's had the clocks out. No one's mentioning about that.
It's still 3 hours.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It flew by more. It was less in between time. It felt like it was earned in between time with promoting Saturday night's main event, etc. Video packages we're always going to get. Thought it was a breeze to watch. Enjoyed pretty much all the matches apart from like R-Truth, etc. I had a good time watching
fucking
it.
Sadist.
Little in your house style Triple H PLE, and we move on to Saturday night's main event.
It was just missing some proper champions, mate, like Cody, like Simon says here, or like Jey Uso, you know, the world heavyweight champion, who was not on there.
Spread these things out, Ben. When you've got so many over
guys, I know.
Spread them out over pay-per-views and such, can't you?
Fucking limbs are all over the place. That's how much Triple H is spreading right now with his book and Money in the Bank and Saudi shows and fucking Christ.
I said this on weekend show as well about SmackDown. When that gets down to 2 hours, I think you'll see the best of both shows again. Like Raw has, like it's been tighter and it's been.
That's not going to fix SmackDown's problems, mate. SmackDown's problems are stuck in the mud, everyone in their silos, boring booking, led by Road Dogg.
But I think the hour knocked off will have to, Ben, because you're going to reduce the roster, reduce the guys you're using and gals you're using. I think
based on the evidence this year so far.
No,
Triple H Booker of the he's losing that Booker of the Year, mate. Fucking Ron Killings. I think that's enough to disqualify.
It's bad. Yeah, that is bad. He'll always win it for me, but he'll be bad. But Cody needs to come back on SmackDown. Let's see what the summer brings. And it's in that spate now where it's going to be SummerSlam's the big one for me for him as well, because I'm not going to pile in on Triple H, but he is, like, as I've said on other shows, he's never going to get that peak of the bloodline. Like, there's a reason why. Fuck it, call it the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he was gifted it when he took over.
He was, but he did make it better. He did make it better. And then
Paul Levesque or Paul Heyman?
Well, whatever you can say. Now we can.
You apparently booked Raw this week. I'm told.
We can change the narrative, but I think like after that, this is a time where he's got to step up. And now there's so many shows in a certain period of time. He thinks that's his way of covering by spreading the big stars out, by giving you these matches. But me, the big test is the 2-night SummerSlam. If that goes down like a lead balloon, then I'll even start questioning him. Then he's got to build these feuds back up. He's got to give you the big matches at SummerSlam. No, because I can kind of see, because there's the what?
Team will be relegated by then, mate. Now it's time to do the change.
Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks. Then 2 weeks later, we've got the double whammy of Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. 2 weeks later after that. 3 weeks after that, we've got the Saudi show. And then we've got a 5-week gap then to SummerSlam. So there's like 3 or 4 big shows in the space of a month. And then we've got the month breathe to SummerSlam. So we're going to get stuff that has been built up. You know, we'll get the payoff to Gable, etc. after Worlds Collide. We'll get Money in the Bank, the ladder match, etc. Punk Cena, I imagine. So there's stuff to kind of look forward to. But SummerSlam for me is the destination he's got to nail. He's got to deliver.
It's a fucking long time away, but we'll see.
It's not though, but at the end of it's beginning of August. It's like 2 months away, really. Really, we think about it. It's nuts.
We'll see if the Booker of the Year can manage his way through this busy period, as you noted there. Yeah, Night of Champions set for Saudi on June the 28th. Plenty of rumours. You know what will help him? Pull the Goldberg button. Get Goldberg on that show. That's the rumour that he's possibly coming back for that. Who could you see him working? Is that what's happening here with Raw last night? That they're moving Gunther apparently. So Gunther's getting the title shot, but it's not at Saturday night's main event. It's not at Money in the Bank. It's the Raw after Money in the Bank, which coincidentally is before this Saudi show. Is that Triple H's genius booking that he's just going to move the belt back onto Gunther so we can do the Goldberg match, or are we getting the Goldberg Jey Uso match we've all dreamed of? Are we getting Punk in Saudi? That's the other thing.
No chance.
Are scared of. I don't think we are. We're getting it at Rumble next year, and he's going to have to, for somebody who's supposedly a man of principle, going to have to stand on his own words and the things that he said. I hate that from him. He always does that. Oh, people how dare you hold yourselves? It's like, no, we're going to hold you to the standards of the words that you said, and the words that you said people haven't forgotten, and he's probably going to forget them if my expectations are there. I just think, how is he going to miss the Rumble? I could see him missing this Saudi show coming up.
Yeah,
it felt. I mean, based on the program that he's in with Seth Rollins and all that, they can get a run. And again, the glut of shows going on around this time.
Exactly.
You can slide them onto another one. Unless he's injured, he's on that Rumble next January. He is 100%. I don't think he's on.
That's going to be no. I don't. Me personally, I don't think he'll ever be on one because, as you say, there's not a more online guy apart from Triple H than CM Punk, and that's the one that always gets through. He's
already setting a stall out, though, isn't he?
He's trying.
Judge me.
This
Instagram
one,
stories and stuff like that.
For sure, I've seen the big message you put on. This one for sure. Now, like you agree, the Rumble be the big acid test for them. Like, really, how will you get out of that? Like kayfabe wise, how will you get that? In real life, everything about that, how do you get out of that without him not being a part of like the WrestleMania build as well? That'll be the test. But this one, no, he won't be on it. Going back to Goldberg, obviously want Jay to have a decent title run. You know, he's got his moments and he got his thing, but I do want him to have a title run. It's either one or the other, isn't it? It's either obviously Gunther beats him or Goldberg costs Gunther somehow against Jey Uso. It doesn't need the belt, Gunther and Goldberg. It doesn't, does it really, for the retirement? Because it doesn't need it.
If it has it, I think that tells you Gunther's going over, which exactly. Should be, regardless.
Gunther will win anyway. Gunther will win anyway.
I think Gunther could pull it out. Could Goldberg have a better match with Gunther than Jey Uso? That's what I want to know.
It'd be laid out within an inch of its life, maybe, yeah, Benno, but, you know, we don't know. But, once again...
Unlike the WrestleMania World title match, wouldn't lay that one out within
big moments.
Like, okay,
big moments. Big moments. But it's going to be, as a gay, I like, not all the time, but when there is a glut of shows like this, I always like to see how you juggle and how you lay these things out, and you always have that one thread of story throughout them all, hopefully, or like on the TV especially, that you can kind of skip about with. So I like it. It just tests someone as a booker, really, shouldn't it? And we lay out. I'm intrigued to see how it goes. But he's setting a stall out with these matches, and Punk and Sami Zayn against Braun and Seth, a big match for Saturday night's main event. I thought they could save that for the pay-per-view, but they're going with the...
Did you see any of Punk's promo from Raw? He does that weird old man thing where like he feels like he can't hear the music. Like he's trying to cut promos over the music and it just never works. He never comes off well. He's trying to call Seth an entrance theme while his entrance theme is playing. Not sure that's working for you, that Phil. It was a decent promo otherwise, but I still feel like they're fighting an uphill battle on that. I enjoy seeing Punk team with Sami Zayn. I just like the awkwardness of the fact that those two have got to continue to share space on TV and pretend to be mates or not mates, as it were. I like them as a babyface team. I'm still unsold on the Heyman faction.
Yeah, well, this is it. Like, it's with Jay as well being in that mix, and obviously Gunther, but you're never going to see a Gunther join up with the Seth and that. I think Drew's.
Have we not just done Jay and Gunther on Saturday night's main event? Why are we doing this Logan Paul merry-go-round?
Yeah, I think it's just Triple H's obsession with, well, as he said about Logan Paul on the precedent, he doesn't see him as a part-time celebrity anymore. Sees him as a part of the roster. He's obsessed. He's
better when he was a part-time celebrity.
Yeah, he's not. I wouldn't say overstaying his welcome, because I think, you know, whether you like the heat or not, he still
the novelty's off.
Yeah, the novelty's worn away. In ring, I think he still gets good reactions, and I don't mind him on the mic. I think he's all right. But at the match-wise, ever since that Ricochet match, really, it's like when he tried to have a serious match, he should have just had more spots and more. They had spots in it. He should have just had a fucking, even if it was just a Ospreay light match on Ricochet, he should have just done something like that. And then it was like, oh no, I can really wrestle, you know. And it has overstayed in ring, but not overall. I'm not fully turned on him yet overall. Logan Paul.
Did you buy what Andy Oggy's selling here? Zayn turning on Punk. Yeah, he was still obviously the tease that Jay segment that you were live in the.
Did anyone else get onto that? Because no one else.
Yeah, people did talk about it. Yeah.
I'm telling you that's coming. But then
why though? Like, there's no money in it, is there? Just keep him as a babyface now. Like, he can't be wrestling for that many more years. You don't need Sami Zayn.
He ran me back when he said, he talked me into that when I'm getting invested. He talked me back when he was front and Seth, like, I'm going to win the World Heavyweight title and I'm going to do it on my own terms. And I was brought into it, but then I thought, no, he's just saying that because he's going to turn, and he's really mates with Seth and it means a lot to him. And Kevin Owens can come back then because he's turning on Punk and be... they'll make it make sense, or they'll try and make it make sense. Yeah. And you've got the Jay stuff of you don't want. I'd rather see, and this is me saying it, I love heels, but Sami Zayn, you can have that. I'd rather see him win the world title when he is a babyface, like a la Cody, where you get everyone coming out. But I can see how they make it sense of, like, he gets frustrated, like Jay of all people, a tag team wrestler, someone he's had beef with and so he's been mates with, has won this title first, and then it's drove into that, and Seth's been in his ear, and Heyman. You can make it work.
Like making Gunther a cowardly world champion. You can. Doesn't mean you should.
No, and that's fair play. And that's fair play. And ever say, honest to God, I was up on my feet shouting, no! And I got the guys next to me and they got onto it at the Raw. I was like, no, don't do it. Honestly, it's coming that he's going to turn on Punk.
Maybe Jay will turn.
Like a shield.
It's a double bluff.
No, because it's Seth involved. It'll be a Shield thing. You'll have all three of them in the ring. He'll hit Punk. Then you'll have Jay playing like Ambrose, where he looks at him for ages and then he just lays into him. Or something, or he cashes in on him heelishly. It'll be a big moment though, and it'll get the fans fucking in. I've got it now. I want to see it now.
I think it's a misdirect. I don't know, but we'll see.
This is it.
Other quick WWE news before we move on. Apparently, it's been a weird timing. Evolution 2 might well be coming. Apparently, fanatics have been listed the job list and looking for a WWE retail executive to work Evolution in Atlanta, Georgia. And obviously, a PW insider have reported that Evolution is actually supposed to be taking place Sunday, July 13th. We don't know if there's any other big shows going on in July from maybe, I don't know, All Elite Wrestling that weekend. Maybe
you said big shows.
Biggest show of the year. I mean, yeah, the biggest show of the year, all in, 20,000 people there, mate.
12,000 been sold already, man. Come on, let's not jump ahead of the gun.
They'll listen. I believe in them.
The quarter day, let's use Gareth. The 25% there, we'll use his terms. 25% terms, come on.
Don't worry, you act like we won't hold their feet to the fire when they don't so. It's pretty much what we do. It's how we get over on YouTube. We have a go at them. It's coming, but yeah, that's the rumour that's taking place that weekend when, AEW could potentially have like a women's main event on their hands at all in. Do they, of course, want to swoop in and find a way to steal the headlines that weekend? And then when it turns out it doesn't work and it's gone head to head with an AEW pay-per-view and does less numbers than it usually does, they'll just put it back in storage for another 5 years and go, you know what, see, the women can't get over. It's like Everton run the women's games from Goodison Park when it only sells 5,000. It's gonna be like, see, we told you they couldn't draw. It's gonna be like that.
Yeah, I'd say, it's a long time coming, the pay-per-view, as you say. Like, there should have been one way before this.
Lay up on it. Like, just do it. Even business-wise, if it did make sense, it clearly made sense just from a goodwill point of view and from the benefits to the women's division, all of it. Like, just do it.
Yeah. But then you can see it's like, well, why have we got our own pay-per-view? The women, we should be on both. I can get it. But they should have a special pay-per-view, the ladies, of course they should, because it was a great show as well. I remember it being such a fucking great show. I really, really loved that at the time. And yeah, it should have happened for me way more before this. But it's typical WWE, Benno. When the AEW got anything on, it's like that, when they're over the Forbidden Door, the announced that UK tour that I'm going to the day before, which Gareth's also going to go to in Liverpool now. He's coming the night before. So
really? Yeah. That's a road trip I want to hear about. Can we mic Gareth up for the entire show? I want to hear everything he's got to say.
Get him bladdered and he'll be all right there, won't he? He'll be all right. But it is typical.
Always coincidence though, yeah. Saturday night's main event, always planned for that Saturday.
Always
of course. Okay. Speaking of which, obviously, WWE's and AAA's relationship is continuing to get deeper as they're sending all the stars for Triple Mania Regalia, which is obviously taking place. It's the week before the AEW CMLL show. Yes, they're sending Joe Hendry, Nick and Ryan Nemeth, and TNA World Champion Moose, all part of this June 15th show, mate. Just bringing in mine and your birthdays with a bit of extra talent for the incredible Lucha Libre week that we've got going on.
I've just clicked on, Ben. I know this ties in as well, but the amount of times I'm going to be on here trying to sell and shield these pay-per-views over the next couple of months.
If you start trying to sell AAA, mate, and then I know we're in trouble. It'll be like that time you pulled out your fucking NXT flag and your NXT hat and your NXT t-shirt and tried to pretend you liked NXT like JP did that one week. I'm not having it, mate. I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to have a quiz. I'm going to ask you about AAA history and who all these people are. Not going for it.
I've definitely stayed up for a Triple Mania with you. I've like a couple, probably.
That's true, actually. We tried to sail for one, didn't we, when we were at Garrett's house that time? And when Joe and JP came up and we all tapped out about 2 hours in because it was like 6 a.m. Yeah. We learned our lesson.
You won't be seeing me getting me a AAA hat or flag out. I can assure you that one. Don't you worry.
Matty coming on with an urn, 2 urns. You'll have 3. You'll find a way to do it. So do it. We do have a bit more detail on WWE's ownership stake in AAA, and obviously, that comes off the back of the report we talked about a couple of weeks ago that apparently WWE will own 51% of it, with 49% owned by that Philippe group, as we mentioned. And while we're talking WWE business, we didn't mention it on the weekend show. I don't think it had quite come out at the time we were on air, but for all our talk, mate, continues to make money hand over fist. 1.269 billion is the revenue for TKO in their first quarter earnings over 2025, and obviously that includes not just WWE, but UFC. But yeah, gigantic, eye-watering numbers that are only going to get bigger when they get into the boxing business, the slap fight business. The world is the oyster for everybody's favorite evil organization.
And you know what? Fair play to them. Just let's not be putting our truth in world title matches. You can make all the money you want. Let's just not be having that, please. And I'll be there for everything except for that. Jesus Christ. All
right, finally, WWE story before we move on. Sure you've enjoyed this.
Yeah,
the Miz has been announced to be hosting the American Gladiators reboot on Amazon. I saw him. I didn't know Amazon had gotten it. It's like they got Grand Tour, they got all kinds now. Amazon, they just outbid everybody. As Miz was quoted on his Twitter as saying this was the like you said, the 10-year-old kid in him will be pinching himself out, will be screaming right now. Dream come true. I don't know about you, mate, but when I was a kid, I dreamed about being a gladiator. I dreamed about being a contestant. Did you ever dream about being John Fashanu and presenting it? I don't think I did. Like, maybe I wanted to be in a room with Eureka Johnson when I was 13, but I don't think I necessarily wanted to be the host of Gladiators. I'm not sure.
Here's one for you, and I know our love of America and American stuff in general, but really, I never ever, even like when obviously Gladiators, the first we seen was our version. I never got into the American Gladiators, you know, but I always preferred our ones. That's the only time I'll actually stick up for us over the American.
It felt secondary, didn't it? Why have they got American in front of it? Why is it American Gladiators? It's like the opposite of when, like, you know, when they have like fucking big tournaments and it's the World Series or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, you don't need it, just Gladiators, innit? Why is it not just called Gladiators there as well? No, never got into it. Battle Bowl I got a little bit more into when that was over here, but never.
I will say about The Miz, and I was having this convo again, like, The Miz is another one. Don't want to see him in there, but keep him around. He'd be a great manager. He should just be Carmelo's manager and hype man. He's great at that.
He shouldn't.
No, I like him.
Like Matt Hardy in the Hardy family office, he should be a million miles away from any young talents like that.
But I like The Miz still on telly, not in the ring though. I get it. You know, he's that heel.
Maybe if he took 10 years off and came back, I thought I'd miss him. He's been on telly, mate, for fucking 22 years or whatever it is. Name someone else outside of your favourite people on fucking Corrie and EastEnders. Who have you looked at on telly for that long that you've been looking at the fucking Michael Gregory Mizanin? Like, come on, he's got a middle name, unlike you.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't know. I still get a kick out of him once again out of the ring. But
proper figures, Liam says, here with the American Gladiators.
Yeah, they were. I remember Liam will obviously have a few. Liam sent a few pictures over, my friend. There's one for you though. There's a game. I couldn't name you one American Gladiator. I couldn't on the spot. Now I'll be dead.
No, I couldn't.
Come to me, I'd be dead, man. I would be.
I feel like they had one that looked a bit like Warrior or Hunter. Like
I'd just say something like Nitro or something. I'd just say Nitro.
Just to hope you'd live. Yeah. Raw, Thunder, just name wrestling shows. They'll probably want them. One of them's gonna hit, innit?
Let us know.
Storm. There was probably a storm, wasn't there? Like, I'm sure there was. Malibu? Was that one?
Was he like the surfer? He got to be obviously the surfer with the long blonde hair.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Platinum Miz guy? Oh, Jesus. Vice?
Platinum Miz guy? I can't believe that, Plat. Why did we have this when we were together for a week in Vegas, mate? Come on, we could share that love.
It's funny that though, isn't it? Like, we're so like American stuff is better, and I think we grew up on our generations, but there's just certain things where it's like, yeah, but British stuff's just that little bit better. And Gladiators apparently one.
Definitely one of them,
weird.
For sure. But he'd be good. I'm sure he'll give it his all, and he'll come across well on that.
What else are we better at? Anything? Sports? I reckon British sports better.
Oh yeah, I've lived. There's an American Gladiator called Nitro. Thank you very much.
There you go. You're alive. Well done, Matthew.
What else is the? Obviously, there's only like
not food.
Okay, obviously the only thing.
Freedom.
That's the only thing. I'm not going this deep, Ben. Let's talk about our truth if we're going to talk about that.
Well, there you go. Get yourself some American guy. Miz has got to be better than Bradley Walsh fucking flirting with his weird son. So it's got to be. Anything's a step up on that.
Yeah, the Miz will be better than Bradley.
If he ever uses the phrase "glads," I'll be moving on very quickly.
Will he?
Well, moving on to other things in the wrestling world, there are other companies around other than WWE, AAA and TNA, which are obviously the three main companies now, according to Matty, and NXT, if you count it as one. Bit of AEW news, pretty quiet on the Western Front going into Dynamite this week. The AEW have announced, obviously, with the 300th Dynamite coming up. Who knew it back when you didn't have to pretend you didn't like AEW back in the first 6 months to a year of AEW, where I'd come round to your house once or twice a week. We'd watch AEW. There was a point, Matty, where you might not remember this, but you said that every Wednesday we were all going to come round to yours and watch this new company, AEW. You won't believe me, folks, but Matty was very much on the AEW train once upon a time. And then just one day you woke up and realised it wasn't the WWE. Decided you hated it. But in those days, did you imagine 300 shows?
No, for sure. And I don't hate it. That's obviously the listeners.
You do.
I don't hate it. As I keep saying, Ben, you've got great wrestlers. You've got the roster's full of great wrestlers, good talkers. You know what I mean? It's just some of the stuff that they do. I just don't find as intriguing.
The really good TV shows they've been doing the last couple of months.
Let's go. Here we go. We're back, aren't we? The bandwagon's back in full effect.
I'm just talking the facts.
The horse is leading the carriage again. I was waiting for it. But that's
Hangman's leading it.
But fair play, you know, me tying there with the horse leading it. Of course, Hangman. The saviour's going to save. And I'm not even being funny there. The Death Riders angle, you know, that's no. In all seriousness, that seems to be the vice that's holding everyone from saying we're actually all happy with AEW at the minute. Like
they'll be off the mountain soon.
Yep. And that if he's holding off for that, that's why we've obviously got this long Death Riders here, or it would have been probably over by now, wouldn't it, if Darby wouldn't have decided to climb Everest. And I've seen that video on fucking fair play. What a nutter. Do you see it?
Do you remember the day that it changed? The day that you lost the feeling for AEW?
No, because I'm still a Kenny Omega guy. I'll always have a lot of love for Ken. You've got a lot of my favourites, like a Christian, Edge.
What week was it you stopped watching Dynamite live every week? See, I know
live every week. That was... Do you actually know, was it before the pandemic? It would have been, wouldn't it? Would have been about 6 months, 5 months in. But that's the thing, though. You think I hate it?
Was it the pandemic that killed it?
It was. And then we got back now because obviously was it the first winter is coming with Brian, and I stayed up for that. So he got up early the next morning, watched that with me mates and that and stuff like that. So it was like, it's one of them, Ben. I always, every Thursday morning, genuinely, first thing I look on is the results on Twitter for AEW. So it's not as if I'm
hoping for them to fail. Hoping they booked Al Snow or something.
I have a laugh, yeah. I do have a laugh with some of it. And to be fair, but all joking aside, it is good to see that everyone is...
Simon there, in fairness, Matty's only just started watching Raw, so he doesn't think his TV habits are the best thing. You never live in that one, David.
I know. I'm rerun all the time. But no, it's fair play. It does seem to get like everyone's got the juices flowing again, and that's fair play.
Well, we'll talk about
that's what
we'll talk about that in a bit. I'm excited for your thoughts on Daniel Garcia versus FTR Bold. We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, 300th episode is coming up from the.
What your thoughts on that?
And Ontario, California, which continues to feel like not a real place.
It's in Canada,
and not in Canada, of course. We all know our geography from wrestling, but yeah, that's coming up in July time. And they've also got apparently a Chicago residency plans. Obviously, Steph's over in Chicago at the minute. That's an easy one right now. I'm all over the place when it comes to time zones, being 6 hours ahead of the UK, but I'm exactly 12 hours ahead of Chicago. So while it's harder for us to like get in touch and have like a catch-up phone call every day, at least I never have to guess. I'm like, okay, what time is it? Or it's 1 in the morning here, so it's 1 in the afternoon there. Like it's easy, it's done. There's no mental gymnastics needed. I like the way sorted. But yeah, she's picked the wrong time to go to Chicago, as AEW are going to be doing a 6-show residency apparently at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. This coming through no less of a source than our friends over at WrestleTix. Hell of a Patreon follow as well. But yeah, from Wednesday, July 16th to Wednesday, July the 31st. But I was speaking to Steph today, and she was saying, obviously, she's going to the Dynamite this Wednesday, where they continue to run like the venue they use in Chicago. It's basically not Chicago. Like literally, Steph's looking at an Uber from downtown Chicago to the venue where Dynamite is this week, $100. That's what it cost from actual Chicago to go to Dynamite this week, and they wonder why they've shifted. I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000 tickets, and don't quote me on this, 12,000 seats arena, I think it is this week for Dynamite. But apparently, I'm told the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, Illinois is a much more central venue, so it'll be a good home for Dynamite, Collision, and whatever else they record across that week. Similar to what they're doing in Philly. I think that's a good shout.
But that's fair play, and obviously, it's obvious to the world, like this is the stuff they should have been doing months and years ago when we first started saying it, or when I got called out for saying it first, when I was in the wrong. I remember saying it first, but it was, you could see it coming, and it's rightfully.
I mean, it was the way you presented the argument, mate, with lies. But
it's like, this is what they should be doing, and this will get the juices flowing. This will restore the feeling. I'm going to say that for you, Benno.
I'm worried about that this week. The Now Arena. It's Now Arena, the venue.
It's going to be a one-off in it, to be fair, to stick up for them. Why
does Tony insist on it? Why does he insist on running this venue? That's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
He must have had it booked ages ago, just as being defensive. He mustn't he? Because he's been on this run of, it looks great, and the way it's produced and the way it all looks, it all looked different, and the way it should be, and the fans look better and sound better.
Smaller venues, like do it. I mean, and this is a positive news story. Obviously, they're going to be at a better, smaller arena for them. But Steph was saying, like, why would the wrestlers won't even like it? Basically, the only two things you can do is go to the airport and go to the hotel. Like, there's nothing else around where that now arena is as well. So. Wild they're doing it, but yeah, that looks like a turn up for the Bucks, and more of that. And the only other real AEW news story, before I get into a little bit of the TV, is apparently Willow Nightingale is in a contract year with AEW. Expectation is that she's going to resign.
Yeah, she will.
Hasn't at time of a press recording. Yeah, there was a bit when the story first came out at the start of the weekend. There was a bit of conversation. Oh, don't let her get snapped up by WWE. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't necessarily see the fit. She's somebody who's like, there's money to be made in AEW, and I would hope she sees that, and I would hope the company sees that, and they get us re-signed as soon as possible.
That's the one. And for me, she's like the female Hangman. I know Hangman's already won the title. Like, I'm sick to death of hearing Willow should be the women's champion. Why haven't they done that already? Like, they short chances to do that. Every time I put the AEW on and see her, she comes across so likeable. A clear baby face, got to be. Yeah. So natural on the mic as well. A good wrestler. Why aren't you making... I know Tony Storm's had a good run, fair play, etc. But has she even been the TBS? She probably has won the TBS. We probably have to fill me in on that. But fucking hell, give her this thing, because everyone to see, she is the female Hangman. It's like she should be the face of the division. Everyone's on her side and everyone likes her. Do it. Simple as that, really.
It would be the most AEW story for a contract to run out on a first leave. Like, oh fuck! Because you spend so much time thinking, oh, they're going to get there with certain person, wrestle X. They're going, and then
someone deserved that. Ben. She deserved that when I've tuned in, and like to be, she gets. So
I'm still mad I didn't get Punk and Cody in AEW, mate. We
natural reactions. She gets the hardest thing you can do in wrestling. That's like I said about Jay. So it is fucking too right.
Well, speaking of AEW, obviously we talked Dynamite on Wednesday, and Collision was 6 million years ago at this point. It was a Thursday Collision. I did catch it over the weekend though, and I did really enjoy it. Like, there was a couple of highlights on it. I don't know whether to go to the one that'll make you laugh first or the one that was genuinely good. I'll start with the one that was genuinely good. Daniel Garcia and Dax Harwood. Brilliant little match. Like, Garcia showed so much fire and got so over. He's another one where, like, at some point they're going to properly go with him. I know he's at this TNT title, or at that TNT title run, but, there's just something's always missing with him, and I wonder if he'd have gone. I don't want to have that conversation. Well, I wish he'd have gone to NXT, because I wonder if he'd have gone to NXT, is there an alternate universe version? People going, see, it didn't work out any better for him, and then you start thinking, well, it's like, again, the football analogy, is it the player himself? Is it not the clubs that he's working for? Is it where he is? Maybe we'd have had that conversation, but you see a match like this, you're constantly reminded, like, there's a natural connection with Daniel Garcia in the audience. He's a different kind of performer. He's not totally naturally charismatic, but he's brilliant in his role as like an underdog babyface who has all the potential in the world. You could see that shows a bit of fire. And yeah, I thought Dax was a really good heel in the match for his part as well. Also did a bit of a Nigel McGuinness tease as well.
What's he doing with that, Ben? He's getting back in there, isn't he? He's getting back in there.
Yeah, FTR were pushing him and he got in the ring and made the save at the end. Along with Daddy Magic, which was weird. I don't think he needed Daddy Magic for that one. Every now and then he just turns up like he's Daniel Garcia's older brother. It's like one of those weird like Chekhov's gun things where it's like, I presume at some point he's going to turn on him, but I don't actually think it's happening anytime soon. But yeah, they're clearly like teasing something with him, and then he'll be getting in the ring with FTR, I presume, and whoever they end up with.
Edge, innit? It'll be Edge and McGuinness, but I always thought they're going to go back eventually to Edge and Christian. The F2R.
Yeah, that'll be the long-term plan. Yeah. I'm pretty sure with the Christian dissension and where they're going. Like JP fancy booked that a few weeks ago, so yeah.
But it's like with the FTR, that's the thing with them. It's like we can all have like little swipes, especially Dax Harwood and that. But they are the good wrestlers. They are at the end of the day, and they can be plugged in when they take it serious. Which I was arguing this again. Like, more wrestlers should be taking stuff serious. You know what I mean? For me, and taking themselves far too seriously, and fair play. And as I haven't seen the match, Ben, but Garcia,
speaking of wrestlers
as well, that has got that potential.
Who don't take themselves seriously. The Ricochet segment again was a highlight of the week's TV. Like him and I think it's going to make you laugh. Him and Zach Gowen.
I know.
I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just having a soft spot for like that era of SmackDown. Like
Tony Khan's been going through his tapes, Benno, and his DVDs at the minute.
Him and Brock, I loved that stuff with him and Brock. I absolutely loved it at the time, and I was fantasy booking it in the EWR games. EWR over promotion wars if we're doing verses like we did at the start.
1,000,000%.
Always the rightful winner there. And again, like Football Manager, once it got to TW and it got a bit more complicated, you lose a lot of people. I was kind of into the complicated there, though. It kind of worked for me. I've not played the latest one. But anyway, that's all to say. Zach Gowen, it's weird soft spot for him, and I quite enjoyed seeing him on TV. And Ricochet he's in one of the... When you're rolling in wrestling, and there's just something, anything he does right now is kind of entertaining. And him just beating up jobbers dressed as security was fun. Him like working the mic while he was doing it, being a bit of a budget rock, but it was kind of fun the way he was doing it, dragging Zach Gowen, dragging his foot off when Zach Gowen jumped the barrier and got in the ring. As a one-off match on your B show, I can almost feel what you're going to say about it. I'm fine with it. Like, I agreed with you. I wouldn't have put Rhino on Dynamite. I think you could have got away with him on Collision, though. It's Collision. So as long as it's like a Collision self-contained thing, I think it's fine. And nobody gets more sympathy than the one-legged wrestler. And obviously, we all remember the stories about Johnny Ace hiring the wrong one-legged wrestler when Zach Gowen came in. But yeah, he was a prick in real life, apparently, Zach Gowen, in those times. I was told that by some people who knew him personally. But I think he's turned things around. I think he's in a much better position, and I'm all right with it.
I am. In case you didn't think
Ricochet, on it, mid-card comedy heel. Who can play it up, brilliantly. And
I'm not against Terry Guerin, Rhino. It's like we've just seen Rhino for years. Like we don't see Zach Gowen often.
Yeah, so like Randy Orton.
It is.
Randy Orton got away with that, by the way, when we did that review. Didn't get enough pelters for fucking being Randy Orton. He's still Randy Orton, is he? Yeah. Like him in real life, I think he's hilarious. Then he gets in the ring and he has a 40-minute Randy Orton match and he loses me again.
But that's the thing. You see, Rhino wasn't like this big. I know it was his hometown, etc. Like Randy Orton there. But it's like Zach Gowen is someone you don't see all the time. And it's just so different for a match as well. Ricochet versus Zach Gowen, that as a one-off, like you, I totally agree. That's fine. But he definitely has got his DVD out of the old blank 2003 SmackDowns Tony Khan at the minute. I'm expecting who's going to turn up next, Benno? Let's go through them.
I was about to say Rico, but didn't Rico turn up? Wasn't Rico on it?
Basham to turn up soon. Someone like that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Terrifying. That's the thing about Tony Khan. Like, he was into it. He was an ECW fan. I believe he was an early ROH fan. And then it's like, tape not found, and then all of a sudden he's a New Japan fan in the 2010s.
Pivot slightly, but on Tony Khan, did you see obviously him and Maven, the whole video on there?
Yeah, when he was backstage,
he was like, "Where was you on Halloween 2004?" And he was like, "I don't know, tell me." He was like, I waited for you and Randy Orton outside, and I got both of your autographs. Brilliant! I love that though. I love that side. He's one of us. No, I love that.
You'd get on. You'd have a great chat. You and Tony.
I probably would. No, we would. We probably would be talking about everything.
You'd hate me. He'd like you.
Yeah, no, we probably. That's the ironic thing. We probably would have a good conversation, and I'd find him. You know what? He sounded. You know what I mean? But yeah,
you say that about everyone. You bowed to Dave Meltzer, mate, when you saw him in real life. All bets are off with you. On that note, Dynamite this week. It's got John Moxley versus Samoa Joe in the steel cage match they've been building for a while. Let's just get that over with. You'll enjoy Benno and Hamlet this week as Hamlet or half goes to bat for you on Samoa Joe, and I have to concede just that little bit. And only the way I do with him and not with you.
And it wasn't a slight on you and the great man, but I loaded all because I was been behind with everything in life the last couple of weeks with going away. Last couple of months. So I loaded all the Benno and Amplets up, and I got a couple in, and then obviously I took the knock on the plane home. So I've got a lot to catch up on. Genuinely, I'm just waiting for the full day. I want to do like a binge watch on YouTube, and I can't wait for that. No, genuinely.
I think you got to the episode you were on, and then you stopped listening.
I'm up to. Well, I can't remember where I'm up to. In your house, I think it's 5. I'm up to at the minute. So I've got a few today to catch up on. So really, it's great. And as I say, it's.
Thanks,
I can't wait to listen to it again.
Appreciate it. John Moxley versus Samoa Joe. Will Ospreay and Hangman Page versus Takeshi and Josh Alexander. That should be fucking brilliant. Yeah. This is obviously the Beach Blaster edition of Dynamite, because I am told there are beaches in Chicago. Didn't know that until Steph told me that. Ricochet versus Zach again caught me. I didn't realize Ricochet versus Zach Gowen was announced for.
That's been announced.
So there you go. Yeah. I'm all right with that. Tony Storm versus Sky Blue versus 2 wrestlers to be announced in the 4-way eliminator match as well. That's your Dynamite lot that we've got here. But yeah, looks like a strong show for Beach Blast.
I think that going again, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but the eliminator there is usually like, why is the point? So like the champion's going to win, but maybe hopefully like someone wins, you know what I mean, and gets a shot, and it's something different there, because usually they do them and the champion wins, and it's like, what's the point of that whole eliminator match? But
no, we are at breaking news at time of recording while we've been on air. AEW have done a tweet. It is, in fact, it's Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Sky Blue, and Azumi, and New Japan Strong women's champion.
Are you gonna? Well, I was wrong on the weekend show, just assuming Monet was going to win. So you're gonna catch on to the fire that what's the name? Azim's got like, so get her to win
Azumi.
That eliminate Azumi, sorry. Get her to win that match and strike while the iron's
I'll end
off,
that through 2 weekend shows.
And then you've got another match there you can book. So that's fair play there. As you know, as long as Tony Storm just doesn't win, and it's pointless, really, you know.
Platt goes with Sky Blue winning to get the double or nothing.
Big return, isn't it? Yeah, Sky Blue
as well. Obviously, yeah, Azumi is the New Japan Strong women's champion at this point, coming off the weekend and the weekend show. On that note, there was obviously the big return of Gallows and Anderson to New Japan, and I wanted to almost leave this story for you to get with, but apparently Gallows and Anderson were quoted this weekend in an interview with Sean Ross Sapp. Elaborating, Gallows said, "Yeah, we're an open book and we have good relationships with both AEW and New Japan. We wanted to go to New Japan first, but yeah, the book is open. The door is always open, and we'd be interested in any conversation we could have behind closed doors with AEW. So there you go. They're open to an AEW return. Good to know, mate. I'm also open to play for Everton in the final game at Goodison. I could still make a flight. I think you'd be willing to play for Liverpool and take Trent's place at a fullback. All these things are possible. The Good Brothers could end up back in AEW.
I mean, they're going to be on that Forbidden Door show.
Fucking hard as well, aren't they? And then they're going to be so funny backstage that they go, "Oh, we missed having them round.
Yeah,
we'll give them a booking. Go on,
4-year deal on about 90 million or something. That's what they're going to end up on.
It's coming, isn't it? Jesus Christ. I haven't seen a resurgence yet from the weekend. Maybe I'll catch up with that and with JP. I go to when Zack Sabre Jr. was good, even though with the double pin finish. B. Priestley returning to prominence, I suppose, in New Japan, returning under the Bushiroad banner, I suppose, if you can say that. Were you ever a fan of her? Did you get to see much of her when she was in
No,
WWE?
Didn't get to see much of her, really, Ben. I say she was very stop-start, wasn't she, in WWE, so no, but yeah, New Japan is the place to.
I want to see the main event as well. Obviously, as we mentioned, Azumi, and that is a news story. Mercedes losing New Japan Strong title. And obviously, they're paying it off with the 4-way and Dynamite this week. But maybe that's something. Seeds planted for Forbidden Door coming up as well. Mina Shirakawa, but the wrestler in that match as well. But makes you wonder about the other belts that Mercedes has got right now. What's potentially going to happen with them?
Well, the title's not on the line in that the final, is it, against Hater? That's not on the line. No. But yeah, hopefully she will lose. But then if you go through this gimmick, Ben, where you lose all these, you eventually will probably win the big one, won't you? And just have the one belt. So she's going to get that world title at some point for sure. So we'll see how we get there. I
keep saying it, and Tony Storm, there's print money there.
It's a big match. Like, even I can see that, and I can't deny that. As you said, you've kept them so far apart. Completely different universes, that when they do come together, that's good booking. That's fair play. There's a little tick in the box there. It'll be a big match.
From a New Japan point of view as well, Goto and Shingo has been announced for Dominion coming up, which adds to the lineup. It's already got Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd, United Empire, Ishii and Taichi, Dave Finlay versus Evil, and obviously we've got the Takeshita Ulrich Bolton match and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Yuya Yamura. I'm sure I'll be watching that live, be catching up with some of the best of the Super Juniors tournament.
Can we talk about that spot though, Ben? Well. Ninja
Maclin. The Ninja Maclin.
It's hilarious.
That is the one thing I've seen Robbie from day one.
Brilliant.
The way Robbie excels it.
Yeah, you'd be shit scared if someone was like that. You go, what are you doing? You'd be like, whoa.
He's like in that The City Is Ours. Not The City Is Ours. What was it? It was the one with Stephen Graham on Netflix, Adolescence. Where like there's the scene where Ashley Walters is chasing the kid, and the kid's clearly too slow, but it's live, so they just run in slow motion. Robbie X basically does that, and like kind of slows, but it's actually kind of perfect, isn't it? He stops at the wrong moment for him, but the right moment for Ninja to catch him. I reckon even a Jamesy would laugh at that. That was one of the better things I've seen Ninja do in a while. Big fan.
Absolutely hilarious. Something I haven't seen. Fucking great stuff. That.
There we go. Other wrestling to be happening over the weekend. I know JP is going to be big, obviously, on the All Japan Champs Carnival. Obviously, we have that's got to be imagined. I think we'll talk about on the weekend show this week. So we got Hideki Suzuki versus Ryo Saito and Ryuki Honda versus Kento Miyahara in the 2-block finals coming up for that. We'll talk more about that on weekend show. Josh Alexander won a 20-man gauntlet to win the Maple Leaf Pro title. Apparently they did really well at the Maple Leaf Gardens. You said you could get there to see a show when you were over in Toronto.
No, as I say, literally found out like 2 days in that it was next door to where I was staying, and like, honestly, the delight in me.
It's hard to miss as well, like when you walk past, isn't it? Like
because it's a big thing, but then because I'm walking underneath it, underneath like the ledge that comes out, I couldn't see the sign until I got over, and then I seen Maple Leaf Gardens. I was like, that's not the Maple Leaf Gardens. And I walked over the road and went, yeah, it fucking is. And I'm just picturing like all the wrestlers at the time being in there, just great stuff, great historical venue, and fair play to Alexander there. Like, obviously a great wrestler and
apparently TNA made no effort to resign, and that was a story I saw when I was collating the news for that one. Kind of wild that. But interesting as well, while working for AEW, obviously he's going to be the Maple Leaf champion going forward. I saw him at Northern Crown in Toronto when I was there, and he was doing all his goodbyes, and he was done with the Indies and couldn't say where he was going. I also saw Steve Maclin on that show, by the way. Did you see the Impact match with him?
You know what? I'm going to watch it.
Fucking hell.
Might be
no wonder they're getting rid of blood. Jesus Christ, he literally had a faucet in his head. It was just fucking like a tap coming off the side of it. Yeah. I mean, Eric Young was still Eric Young. I just can't get his stable's called something like the Northern Armory, I think they called it.
He took over Josh Alexander's. He robbed them off, and didn't he, before he left? He robbed the guys he was with.
You'll never see a match that's more a one-man performance, and it's literally just Maclin. Beating the gush and giving you all the drama. Big fan again, maybe I spent too much time with you and with an E while he was out here. He's a big Maclin guy, but I can kind of see the hype. He's definitely now that Josh is gone, he's probably between him and Santana, isn't it? They're kind of two great hopes.
He's like
good matchup.
Every time I see him, and I will watch it. Like when I get the time, it's just like he's just real. Maclin, he's just rugged. He's in your face. He's just like lays it in. He's a great wrestler. And yeah, as I say, I don't know if this decision was made before that match that they were stopping the blood, or then it's when they seen that and went, right, we're not doing it no more. So yeah,
it reminded me of like, maybe not. It actually wasn't quite as bad as this, but when Eddie Guerrero does the gusher against JBL.
JBL,
like that was the first time in my life where I watched the wrestling and went, and like at the top of the show, I don't really get concerned for wrestling safety. I just don't care that much. The fucking grown-ups, it's their decision.
That was a rough one,
that was the first time as a fan where I was like, well, I'm not sure about this. He might die here while watching this. This is not okay.
Pouring out, isn't it? Literally, yeah.
It's along those lines. It's kind of scary stuff. But yeah, that was something I watched. And I'd like this as a quick and finally show. A news story to throw in. Apparently, this was obviously a long time coming, but the PWG website has shut down. Obviously, PWG has been on a hiatus for a very long time. August 2023 was the last show, the Mystery Vortex show that they ran there. And obviously, I know this is all, but it says here in the story, actually, I was going to mention, wasn't sure how much it was out there, but obviously Super Dragon, his girlfriend, is battling cancer, I believe, and I think Super Dragon's had his own health issues as well, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, it does seem like PWG is done. I think the move of venue obviously was a big part of it. They continue to do pretty well outside of the old, what was it called, the Armory, the
Reseda, wasn't it?
Reseda, also Reseda, and then kind of gone quiet, and really the existence of AEW kind of, took away the need, really, because most of the guys they would have used were in AEW, and obviously it was the place where it was kind of neutral ground, wasn't it? For you'd see Regal obviously turn up to Reseda, and random WWE guys turn up, and everyone could work anybody, and that's why it was only DVDs and not streaming. But yeah, it feels like the website going offline is,
the big stars in the front row. She turned up,
of course. She loved that. Are they dead? I think that was the photo caption that she posted.
Meltzer be gutted. He loved it, didn't he, as well? He loved it.
It's funny, though, because we talked about when we did the Steen and Generico show, and obviously we did the PWG opening show. I've been to PWG, but I still don't think I really saw PWG. That was PWG back in the comedy days. That was PWG back, it was a very different PWG back then, and it was in the UK. So, again, not quite as good. It was in America. I wish I could have made it over at some point. But, yeah, I wanted to mention it, as it does seem to be pretty definitively dead, and it's another notch on it. And obviously was a company that was very near and dear to your heart. To Platt's wallet and DVD collection, as he was very much you push it in your PWG years.
Oh, mate, no, genuinely, honestly, in that period of my life, don't want to get too deep again, as some of the listeners know, when I was just recovering, after losing my mum and such, and just being on a year off, them PWG shows and such, Ben, honestly, me saving grace, I was staying up all hours watching them, couldn't get enough of them, used to bulk buy off Platt, and genuinely had so much entertainment with their matches, and just I loved it, and I should go back and watch them shows. And I don't know if Platt, if you're listening, mate, maybe I'm missing a few shows you might be able to fill me in on, mate. So honestly, just great times, and hopefully, as you say, they probably are done, aren't they now, though, Ben? So it's a sad day, I'd say.
I could never get through the shows, genuinely, those big, obviously, big bowler tournaments like that. I get excited.
Oh, gosh, man, I love it.
I'm done. But you honestly,
I was new to it,
But you'd sit there, you'd watch them all. You'd be like, have you seen Speedball Mike Bailey? You'd be like, you watched Speedball Mike Bailey? What? But really, it's off the AEW roster, isn't it? I still don't understand why you don't love it, mate. Even Tommy Bellin doing the rounds in those years, Yeah, you've got up to the last release, apparently.
Have I? Maybe I've got them and I haven't finished them then, Platt. Maybe you did box me off, actually. Yeah, thanks for that. But it is as you say, where they're discovered, in that indie period, some of the wrestlers that I still kind of follow today as well, the Rascals and such like that I'm still into.
I think what I need for it is I was always the same with Progress. People
Bandido was big on them, Ben. Sorry, Bandido was one for me on that. He was me guy. And when he beat Jeff Cobb earlier on, that's why maybe I've got the thing with Jeff Cobb. He beat Jeff Cobb. The build up to Bandido winning it and winning the title. I think it's Varsity of an Athlete, maybe 2019. Isn't it? That was the one. It was a big match and a big moment. Bandido got it because he was the fans guy as well. It was well done.
Best PWG match you saw?
I mean, there's a 6-man. It was the Rascals against, I think it was Flamita, Bandido, and maybe Ray Horus. I think they were the trio. Honestly, Ben, at the time, I'd never seen nothing like it.
I can imagine.
Genuinely, I hadn't seen nothing like it. When Wes busted out that fucking backflip kick he does, the double backflip kick. Honestly, mate, unbelievable stuff. Loved it,
I could probably hear the laughter from your house.
Oh, genuinely.
I didn't even live near you.
Just great times, really was, and great stuff, mate. I'll have to definitely dig them out at some point. Maybe do it overall. I think someone had the idea, did he? And maybe it's giving you the shudders of PWG, maybe mixtape or something.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I almost felt like I was fighting off the PWG fans when we were doing that.
You was, remember that
vacation show. That was a gift to those guys as well. What Connor's saying here, your indie run would be a class mixtape on me if we can avoid the cancel bugs. Maybe it was that I always tried to jump in on a bowler in modern PWG, and same thing for Progress. I never really liked the Super Strong Style weekends. I always liked the more self-contained, smaller scale shows that had a nice opener, a good mid card, and then a main event that meant something. And that's story, capital letters, and obviously there's more educated people than me that can point to the big stories and the big moments that the PWG had. I would say they were just that moments, but anywho, people will say otherwise. Maybe I believe Bloody Strong, Bucks, Kevin, Steen, all that stuff. I've never really
that's your
seen
PWG.
It in full context, so.
I thought you'd be more, as you say, maybe early on, like you said, when it was over the year, the name was attached to it, etc. But I haven't seen just before that run where it probably meant to be at its peak in it with the young Bucks and all that. So that's when it's meant to be. Maybe I have to maybe I have to get Platt on the map blower and get.
Feels like watching. It's like people say it's like watching porn for the stories, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like not watching PWG, watching the 5-star matches for the storylines. That's what I want.
That's me first. I've got to throw in obviously Dijak Keith Lee. When I first seen that on that, I was
Oh
like,
my God, I remember how much
whoa.
you love that, yeah.
Yeah, and even the NXT, that's one of my favourite. That's definitely, we haven't done this, I don't think, a touring match mixtape. Like, that's got to be on there once we do that idea as well. I think we're mixtape heavy in it, with it being May, obviously, mixtape.
Mixtape May, I think that's the gimmick now, isn't it? Every May we do 4 mixtapes.
There you go. And that's the only form we do all year, unless it's sort of big happens. Yeah.
All right, next year we retcon it. That's what May is done.
Yes,
or March.
we do.
One of the other. Both begin with them, so easily done.
All good, mate.
Well, on that note, unless you've got any more to talk about, obviously we'll get into the plugs and we'll get out of it. As we say, we have rejigged the old schedule. So if you've seen the old version floating around, I apologise. It's only May the 3rd, well 14th by the time people are going to be hearing a lot of this. So sorry, but we got it sorted eventually. We know what we're doing this month now, as we've mentioned. The 5-1 came out week before last, actually, with you guys going through pick a mix of different subjects. As I said to JP, I had a great time knocking around different supermarkets, listening to that one and hearing all your hot takes on it and wanting to shout at me radio.
Just at that one, like, put it out to the public here as well while we're on Spotlight. Egg on a burger. I didn't think that was as controversial as some people made it seem. A lot of people have agreed with me, but I think the step of the line was when I said egg's good on a pizza as well, though, Benno. People couldn't have that one. Honestly, add an egg to anything, it makes it better. That's what I'm saying.
I'm finding that over here. Every meal I have has got an egg on top. It's pretty much. I've been asking for more. I'm usually asking for an extra egg, mate. I want 2 eggs.
I know, in work, like everyone in work, every soup gets made every day, fresh, no matter what the soup is. A couple of the staff just throw an egg on top, no matter what the soup is, and I'm like,
healthy protein, good and bad fats, but good fats mostly in there as well. Go full psycho WWE wrestling, just get egg whites, no yolk.
Luger back in the day with it, just egg whites.
Go full on that, But yeah, I enjoyed it very much. I'm trying to think of the other stuff I had arguments on. I was surprised JP went with Prince Dana in the top 5 top 5 managers. I might have gone with that, but with like the ROH on it more than anything. Can't think of what else stood out. Obviously, you talked Hollywood. What else did you talk? Hollywood actors.
Hollywood actors, favourite football players of all time, the non-wrestling ones. We had
Andrei Kanchelskis.
Oh, was he yours? Was he? Yeah.
Anders Limpar, Graham Stewart, Tony Cotti, Stuart McCall. There you go. There's my top 5.
Love that. Kanchelskis for that 95-96 season with the double at Anfield.
He had one move. He'd like tap the ball twice with his right foot on the inside, and then he'd do on the outside, and he beat so many fucking defenders. I'd have some more modern people in there. Pinar, Arteta. Maybe I'd include them too.
More modern? Like 15 years ago.
Modern to me. I've only started like a footy again last week, mate. Corrie, do you want me to throw him in?
Oh, he's leaving, isn't he? But look,
Charlie Alcaraz
was one I loved as well. He just always used to wear the baggiest shirt, didn't he? Always long sleeve as well.
He was cool, wasn't he?
He was.
The fact that he came to Everton just because we were down the road, but he's like this fucking United 5-star player, and he comes to fucking relegation fodder Everton. Brilliant. And,
but we had the
Limpard on the other wing. Love Limpard as well. Another classic ex-Arsenal player, JP would agree.
And wrestling wise, Ben, on that show, we had like best managers and best valets as well. So and best and worst ring attire as well we had on there. So ring gear, that's been
Shawn Michaels all 5 on both.
Yeah, well, he crops up on the worst for that Survivor Series with the brown kecks, obviously. But me and JP agree on the worst of all time. But it was always good to do them pick and mixes. Keeps you there on your toes with so much to delve into topic wise there, like so. Good
there
stuff.
We go. Well, I enjoy being a listener on that one, and of course, obviously, we've got more out there. The main mixtape, which we recorded last weekend, which was a lot of fun and turned out to be very timely. Covered everything on that pandemic wrestling, ROH, WWE, bit of Sabu matches in there, Japan, Hogan in Japan.
Yes, where great Terry.
All the Terrys, allegedly. Can't believe we didn't talk about the spot of that match where Mita gets on a fucking swing and flies at Terry.
Oh yeah, a ladder. It's like an action film, like a ladder from an helicopter in it, and he's just
doing anything to amuse himself, isn't he? Even the spot where he goes he does like a run down the entire aisle to do a clothesline. Can't believe we did. I was listening back to it, going, I can't believe we didn't bring that up. I've thrown it in now. Other than that, though, we covered it in detail. That was a great show. Obviously, the 4 Horsewomen show with Queen of the Mountain, Sophia Hitchcock coming out. We'll be looking at the 4 Horsewomen of NXT, and of course, has to be done this weekend. The deep cut Terry Brunk, a tribute to Sabu, and in the little bank holiday weekend with Double or Nothing, we'll be releasing Retro that weekend as well. So every weekend this week we'll have a fun little new show before we get to May in 2 weeks, June in 2 weeks, mate. It's all coming fast.
We have to, as I say, Ben, getting these together and calling the audible, and as you say, rightfully and deservedly so. my hamster wheel's spinning for June ideas, mate. I'm on board now. I want to see what we can change up, or still, as you say, we've got little series going. Can we fill them in, or some brand new ideas?
I'm still after to be still doing 93 minutes.
Yeah.
Or more Terry. We need to get, because that was the thing. The Muta match is literally his first match after WrestleMania 9, which is mind blowing.
Oh, mate, I couldn't believe that.
Burying the belt. Like,
it just didn't
crazy.
make sense, did it? Because I've seen the promo and I've seen the way he says it, and I thought, well, this is after he drops the title to Yoko. Literally, when he's the WWF champion, he says this. I couldn't believe it. Fucking hell.
It's a trinket, mate. That's all it is.
Yeah,
more thoughts.
A prop. It's a prop
on the show. A prop. Yeah. Well, you'd agree with that. I'm sure. Outside of that, any other plugs? Yeah, I've got Benno and Hamlet out this weekend. We talk Good Friends and Better Enemies, one of the great matches of all time in my book, Shawn Michaels and Diesel. And we talked that a bit on Shawn, didn't we? And rewatched that. Never gets old, that one. The undercard maybe does get old. Goldust smoking Warrior smoking Goldust cigar, putting the wig on. Not great stuff, but we had a great time talking about it. Yeah, it was a tough one, to be honest, to record that show, because obviously we both just want to talk about our travels. I want to hear all about him going to the Hard House and everything he did in Calgary. We're going to do that on the next Housekeeping, and that'll be in a couple of weeks as well. So we tried to hold our water, but I got a couple of stories out of him. He didn't go for a ginger jog like Bret Hart did on the snowy. He resisted the urge to do it, but it's a reason to go back. I got that out of him. So fun stuff coming up. Anything for you?
Yeah, no, we recording with him myself. I think it's next Monday, Ben, the 19th, doing a Backlash 2002 for a bit of shite. But as I mentioned on the May mixtape there, I've got fond memories of Backlash 2002 outside.
Is that like 2001 that we covered? Was that shite?
But this is it, Ben. No, not according to myself. Like maybe Hamlet's maybe not turned on Steve Austin and thought he was shite in 2001. But no, we're always good to catch up with him as well. So I'm looking forward to that and dissecting that down. But just can't wait to get into this weekend, Ben, with Sabu. We have to get this playlist officially down, the must-watch bit, and the sickos one. Any suggestions we said earlier on, feel free to drop them in on our Discord anywhere you can, on our Patreon. And we'll add them to the sickos list, or maybe they get into the must-watch. We shall decide that.
Matty will add it to the list, and then while he's asleep tonight, I'll be making edits and changing it. And by the time he gets up tomorrow morning, it'll be completely different. The beauty of time zones. But yeah, it is 3:30 in the morning local time, so we should get out of here. But thank you to our patrons for watching. As always, thank you to our live patrons for tuning in live with us. You can do this every week for Spotlight, for Weekend Show, and for our Sunday bonus shows. Great time to join the Patreon, or join us on YouTube, youtube.com/@grapple over there. For only £1, the cheapest possible way in, you can get a few little bonus things we throw people. Matty Edwards pre-show are among it, so you can hear us talk some off-topic stuff. Or you can even join the free feed on the Patreon. You get a few little bonus things thrown at you as well. But yeah, we always appreciate our patrons. So yeah, thank you to everyone who stayed up late for us. Thank you to our Kings of the Mountain, as always, and Queen of the Mountain, Sophia Hitchcock, who we'll be talking to in a couple of weeks. Our Kings of the Mountain, Conor Laughlin, Eddie Sarburns, Chris Platt, Carl Gack, and Sam Mulvaney. And thank you for Matty. Thank you for JP. Thank you for Gareth. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Ta-da. Scouse, as always.
Good night, all.